Alright, welcome guys for the last day of the Shadow Cup here. Uh, Very exciting. Honestly, we did have a beautiful two previous day, and I'm eager to see if we're able to reach that level of competition that we've seen in the previous days. Very much has been done since the 2 days, and much has happened to give us the two matches that we have today, which is a third place match at first between the upgraded Bananas and East Mir Eigentlich Egal, uh, and the grand final #1 against Dream Team. So to talk with us with how everything has progressed, we will be joined by Pennywise, that is with us now. So welcome, Penny.
Hello, Mr. Shadow. How are you today?
Sorry, you are a bit loud, I think. So let me just adjust your sound. You keep changing your mic, so always a bit tricky. So
I
try
haven't
it now.
changed it.
All right, we should be at the same level approximately, so should be clearer for the audience.
Excellent, excellent. I believe it's probably time for me to start spamming the general chats as well to get the viewers here hyped and ready for the finals day.
It is indeed. And for now, what I want to do is discuss a little bit of what is the road that led us to the matches today. And looking back at the event at day one, we did have a long day for day one on Yog Yog stream. #1 dropping a game to Green Dwarf was quite a surprise because Green Dwarf were the last seed, and taking one game of #1 was kind of impressive, but they did turn it back
They
in the
played it
two
really
games.
well though, Green Dwarf. I think like obviously they lost in the end, but they took a really nice game. That game one was pretty decisive from Tyrion and Green Spirit. I think they deserved to take at least one win there. It's kind of a shame that they did get reverse sweep there by Dan's and Saiyajin. But of course, these guys are at the top of their game, so
Yeah.
it's kind of it's kind of an expected outcome that Dan's and Saiyajin would end up in the final. You know, these guys are just amazing players of Legion TD2, and they definitely deserve their spot here in the finals today.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what we expect of the first seed of a tournament to reach the final. And I mean, all the bracket is made so that the first and second seed are favored to reach the end, just because they are normally the one who offers the best competition. But upsets are already very welcome, of course. They are very impressive to see. And I mean, for the second seed, East mir eigentlich egal. We did have a very quick 2-0 against Marginal Lines Repaired as well.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Now, I think ist mir eigentlich egal. I think I'm pronouncing that as well as I can.
Yeah, we're both
Uh,
trying. So sorry, Mr. Buzz, if you are
no,
disappointed.
no, no. I think he's a good sport. He will appreciate the effort of making the casters try and speak German. I think that's one reason they went with kind of a tricky German phrase, is
Yeah.
mainly to make the casters stumble over the pronunciation, which is fair enough. But it's all in good fun, right? So those guys will be in the third place playoff against. Remind me.
It will be against the upgraded Bananas, which were the third match here against B Square, and quite a close series, honestly, against B Square, but upgraded Bananas coming up ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So those two teams will play off in the first match today to decide who gets the third place position and the bronze Shadowings trophy. So
Yes.
kind of pretty good for them, and I assume there is extra prize money as well for the third place.
Yes. Third place and fourth place have different prices, if I remember correctly. If it's here. Uh, no, they have the exact same price. It's just the trophy, the difference. It's first and second place that have different prices, if I
Okay.
read that correctly.
Oh, the trophy is still something to play for, right?
Yeah. And so in the second day of game, we had a lot of 2-0s here, so fast day in day two, but quite a surprising showing by Dream Team, the fifth seed, taking out the fourth, and then taking out the second seed to reach the
Mhm.
final.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So it's been a pretty rocky road for the teams to get here. Like they've had to overcome some pretty tough competition, but they made it through in the end, and it's going to be a really hype grand final today, I think.
Yeah, hashtag one against Dream Team. They both shown very strong games and a very good preparation. It looks like. And so, very exciting to see that grand final that will take place at 16:40 CEST. But before that, we have at 15 CEST the third place match between Upgraded Bananas and Eastmere Eigentlich Egal. Uh,
Absolutely, dude.
but
It's
some
going to be a
stats,
pretty nice match.
yeah, very nice match for sure. I mean, it is the second and third seed facing off against each other as well, so that is quite a good match for sure. But some stats here to help the viewers see what we could potentially see because we had some interesting things here. In 5 of the 6 matches that we've seen here with the pick and ban, there's 5 games that mech was banned. So mech seems to be a terror in this tournament. I mean, the logic behind it is probably Zeus APS, and do you think that we will see this mech ban, or we will see a change of strategy here?
I'm not sure. Honestly, I think if it were me, I would be banning Atlantean over Mech, because I think Atlantean is a stronger legion with your guaranteed full Hydra, and the Serpent and the Kingpin, obviously both very, very strong units as well. So I think I would always favour banning Atlantean over Mech personally. But I can see why people just want to take out the Zeus APS combo, especially because it gives you the option to try and re-roll into something like a boar, and then you have that trifecta going on, right? So I can see why people are banning mech.
Yeah, so that seems to be the fear here, and there are 3 options that were very interesting to see. Also, uh, there was YOLO picked 6 out of 6 times in the game. So that means that YOLO is not something that people ban, but allows to go through. What do you think that is?
Sorry, repeat that.
YOLO has been picked by every team in every
Ah,
single.
really?
Not not
Every team?
not every team,
Every
but
team?
every matches that had happened, there was a YOLO,
There's always been one YOLO. Okay.
at
Well,
least one.
so I was talking about this yesterday with Crazy. I think YOLO is a very high variance option. So it can just shoot you in the foot, right? Because you can pick YOLO and you can end up with, a borderline unplayable roll, and then you pretty much just lose the game off the state of your roll, right?
Yeah,
But at the same time, if you take YOLO and you get a half decent roll, now again, it's pure RNG, right? You need to just rely on a bit of luck there in what you get in your roll. But if you get a decent roll with YOLO, then the fact that you're starting with 6 income instead of 3 compared to Legions and some of the other Mastermind rolls, it's a big advantage. Like +3 income every wave is a really big advantage.
yeah, it is a big advantage. So we might see a little bit of a change of strategy here, realizing that maybe that income advantage does come ahead, because we did see a lot of times people getting off guard with the 3 income instead of the 5 or the 6 from YOLO and Greed. Especially
Yeah,
with a growl
absolutely.
start. Um, and one interesting talking about greed is that it has been banned every single game.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think Greed is just the playstyle that everybody on the ladder is used to playing. Like at the top end of the ladder, almost everyone is picking Greed every match. If not, they're taking YOLO just for the fun of it, right? I don't really
Yeah,
see many people at all taking lock in or redraw in ladder matches. So I think just removing that comfort pick, which is Greed, is just a solid all around choice, I think.
yeah, and just focusing a bit more on the third place match here, there has been a surprise pick by Piney and Mr. Buzz, and this pick was hybrid. How do you think it will fare? Do you think that we will see it banned again, or players will try to let it go and just say, "Yeah, it's too random for it to be consistent. You're not able, you're going to be able to do anything with it."
I think there are some people who can pilot hybrid extremely well, and Piney is certainly one of the players who can do that. So I don't think anybody else will be banning hybrid unless it is specifically a respect ban against Piney, because I think he is kind of known as the best hybrid player in the whole of Legion TD2. Like
Yeah,
he just absolutely mastered that Legion. He it is a very randomized race, like more so than any other, of course, but he knows how to control that randomness to some extent, and he can absolutely pop off with hybrid. I've seen him do it a number of times in the past. I played with and against him in classic matches, and he is a player to be feared when he has that hybrid legion under his control.
indeed. And now I will leave you, Penny, for now, and I will join the players to do the pick and ban. I will rejoin you right after to talk about the pick and ban. You can follow it as well. You have the document. So we'll go into that, and we'll be right back with Pennywise in a little bit. And now I'll join the players. So later, Penny.
Later, Shadow.
So we are now at the point where we are going to go for the pick and ban phase. We are missing one of the two teams, so I'm just gonna shoot them a reminder.
Hello, I'm the other team.
And there is a Mr. Buzz already here. Um, but we are waiting on Adamus here to yeah. Okay, so he's going to be here right now, and so welcome both players. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. I'm a bit. I had a drinking day yesterday. Bit of a headache, but it's fine.
All right, and you, Adamus, how are you feeling here?
I'm feeling great. Thanks for asking.
All right, so I'll ask you guys to have your documents open so that we can go through the big and ban phase together. While you open your document, I'll explain to the audience a little bit how it will work. For those who didn't follow the two previous day, we do have the first phase, which will be a global ban by both players. And so they will decide to ban one of the Legion option in the middle of the screen. And then after that, you will have the first team pick 2 legions, then the other one pick 4, and then finish with 2. And then the one who picked 4 legions is going to ban one of the option of the other team that pick the 2 and 2, and then the last one will the same team will ban one of the option of the other. They are able to pick the same legions if they are willing, but it is not a necessity. So on that, I'm gonna ask Mr. Boss to go for the first global ban here.
Sure, we will globally ban Grove.
Grove, globally ban. All right, so that's interesting. I like this. And
Right.
then Adamus, what do you decide to ban here?
Mech.
Banning mech. So after that, I'm gonna ask Mr. Boss to yes, it is Mr. Boss to pick 2 legions here.
So we're picking Hybrid and Chaos.
Nice.
Going for hybrid and chaos here. So I like this. I like the out of the ordinary options going out. And in reaction to that, Adamus, you are free to pick 4 legions now.
Yeah, we pick Greed, Redraw, Lock-in, and Atlantine.
Redraw, Lock-in, and Atlantean. So pretty standard stuff here from you guys. That's totally fine. And now, Mr. Buzz, your 2 last picks, please.
So we will also pick YOLO and Greed.
So YOLO and Greed for you. Now, looking at these options, Adamus, what do you decide to ban?
Greed.
Banning Greed here. And now, Mr. Buzz, what is your ban towards Adamus and Chubis?
I'm also banning Greed. I wouldn't have done it if they wouldn't do it, but
just to make it equal, right?
yeah.
So thank you for making this pick and ban. So just to remind, Mr. Buzz, your options are Hybrid, Chaos, and YOLO, while Adamus,
Yes.
your options are Redraw, Lock-in, and Atlantean.
Yes, perfect.
So I will ask Mr. Buzz to go and create the lobby. We will join you soon. We will take 5 minutes to discuss about this pick and ban with Penny, and then after that we can start the game. Is that fine with you?
Yes, very fine. Thank you very much.
Yes.
All right. So see
Good
you in
luck
game
in game.
and have fun.
Thanks.
So we are going to get back to Penny in a second. So let me do the transition here. We are going with Penny. And hello, Penny. How are you?
Hello, Mr. Shadow. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Did you see the pick and ban here?
I have seen the pick and bans. Pretty interesting.
Pretty
So it looks
interesting one.
like Piney has got his hybrid to play with today.
Yeah, and I'm quite excited to see it, honestly.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see it as well. Like we know, we said it like 5 minutes ago, right? Piney is known as the #1 hybrid player in all of Legion TD, and he has got control of that. So let's see if he can pop off with hybrid in this match today.
Yeah, so that will be the interesting part. So Mr. Boss is creating the lobby right now, and we should be able to talk about the pick and ban while we join the game here. So just making it quick here for me, and here we go. So you do have the pick and ban on screen right now, and yeah, I mean we have the greed ban yet again, 100% still, and the mech ban as well. So that's quite interesting to see that despite seeing different picks, we see the
Grove
same.
was globally banned.
Yeah,
What? What? What?
yeah. Grove was globally banned by Mr. Buzz and Piney here. So I think they just wanted to have at least their options to go hybrid and chaos, at least one of them. So I think that just banning something out of the ordinary and just allowing them to have their power picks should be would have been their options here.
Yeah, it still seems like a little bit of a weird one, though.
It is indeed a weird one, but
It seems like it feels like a throwaway ban. Like they kind of don't care what they play against, so they just ban Grove because
yeah,
I'm
that's
pretty
true.
sure that Grove is very, very weak at the moment. Like it has solid units, definitely. They just don't have much synergy inside the Legion.
Yeah, that is true. I think that banning greed could have been a bit better. But let
Yeah.
me make the transition into the main screen here while I do some adjustment. And you can continue talking about the picks while I do the adjustment.
Sure. So I actually think that Piney and Buzz have taken some really bold choices here today because they're not going with any of the safe mastermind options. Okay, they tried picking Greed, but that was banned by Adams and Chuvis. But just look at their 3 picks now. They have Hybrid, Chaos, and YOLO. Like, could you imagine a more randomized set of picks to go into the third place playoff match today? I don't think you could. I think they're kind of trying to spice things up a bit today. They're going for fun picks, and they definitely managed that. Like, I really respect them taking these picks here today. Like, they're saying, win or lose, we're here to have fun. We're taking the most amusing Legion choices there are. It's hybrid, it's chaos, it's YOLO. We're going to go big or go home. And I just really think that that's a great, fun attitude to bring into the final day today. So respect to them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and there's already something very useful for us is that it's easy to spot hybrid, it's easy to spot yellow, and then
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah,
easier for us
definitely.
as well. So we'll be jumping in the lobby here. I think there's nothing else to add about the pick and ban does.
Well, I'll just talk about the upgraded bananas picks because I think they've kind of done the opposite. Like these are some try-hard picks, I think, from Adams and Chuvis. So they're not taking prisoners today. They want to win. They want to secure the third place. So they're going with 3 safe options. Like obviously they
Yeah.
tried picking greed as well, but that's been banned. But they still have the lock-in, they have the redraw, they have the Atlantean. So I think they've taken the 3 strongest options, the 3 most consistent options for sure. Like it's not going to be as high variance as Buzz and Piney. If they can high roll with their, Chaos Hybrid YOLO rolls, then they should be able to outpace Adams and Chuvis with the slower, lower income choices there with Redraw, Lock-in, and Atlantean. But Adams and Chuvis, they're just going for consistency. They picked safe choices. It's going to be really solid. They know they're going to get good rolls. And I just think it's going to be an interesting kind of game to see which one pays off, basically? Is it going to be the ambitious picks, or is it going to be the safe and steady picks?
Yeah, and we will come back to this screen in between games to see what they have picked and how is this progressing. It is a best of 3, and the scoreboard is at the top. And yeah, so everybody is ready. We might be able to start the game very soon.
I think we're just waiting for Mr. Buzz to start, it looks like.
Yeah, and we are indeed going into the game here for game 1 of the 3rd place match of Shadow Cup here. 3rd seed against 2nd seed, and I've got the name reversed. That's perfect. Okay, that's fine. That's just on me. I did tell the players to create the lobby, but invert it. So let's just correct that while you talk about the Legion spells and we
So, guys in Twitch chat, ladies and gentlemen, welcome for the final day of the Shadow Cup. We are kicking off with the 3rd place playoff. We have Ist mir eigentlich egal, that is Mr. Buzz and Piney, and they will be facing off against the upgraded bananas, that is Chuvis and Adams, and we are going to have one hell of a show for you here today. This 3rd place playoff is going to be a best of 3 against 2 of the runner-up teams in the Shadow Cup, but no slouches among them. They are all amazing players. We have 4 of the best players in the whole of Legion here today. It's going to be an amazing best of 3 matchup, and then straight after that we will dive into the grand final, a best of 5 matchup. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you stay here. We've got some fantastic Legion TD action for you right here today.
Yeah, and sorry, this is my first load of the day, and this kind of thing happens.
Yeah. That's rookie casting there, Mr. Shadow. Always load a sandbox match before you get into the main event to get the first load out of the way.
Yes.
And we do have Piney on the hybrid, by the way.
Yes.
So first match, hybrid, and Buzz on YOLO. They're going straight in for these random rolls. Look at Buzz's roll, by the way. 3 tier 6s in that YOLO roll.
Oof, that's a lot of tier 6 indeed. So this is hybrid. We do have lock-in on one of the 2 players, I think Sadamus, and redraw on Chuvis.
Yeah. And if we take a look at the Legion spells, we've got 2 very aggressive spells with the Press the Attack and the Giant Snails. So we might expect to see big kill sends on 11, 12, 13, stuff like that. There is a Vampire, which is a pretty solid buff spell, especially when you've got a cluster of powerful units. But it's not quite at the same defensive power level as something like a Lone, which is obviously amazing to hold against those big 11 and 12 sends. So let's see. I think this game, we might see some pretty big sends coming around the wave 11-12 mark, and just see if one side can close out the game at that point.
Yeah, sorry. I have trouble with the overlay currently. It's not cooperating with me. Just gotta add needed to do changes here.
Allow me to talk about the game while you play with the overlay then. So we see everybody sending their king ups here on wave 1. There is no snails in sight. There are only king upgrades, and it's attack from everybody. So they're getting that king boost of power already on the table. And of course, more importantly, growing their income right from the start of the game. So everyone going straight away for a little bit of an income boost, increasing their economy and making sure that they can keep that gold flowing as we start the early game. Chuvis with this Bone Crusher start, but he's not pushing workers.
He's
I don't
for
think
workers.
I've ever seen a Bone Crusher not push workers on wave 1, especially after receiving a send.
Yeah,
that's an interesting one.
So that might be because he doesn't feel comfortable on wave 3. So that might be a thing. Or does he want to have a tier 6? Okay, no, he does want to go
I think it's just straight up a mistake, though. Because he could just add a Bone Warrior and still get his Serpent there for wave 3.
That is true. And even maybe he didn't want to spam those Bone Warriors. Like you need 3 Bone Warriors to hold. Oh no, you need 2, right, to hold a snail. With the correct positioning.
2 will hold a snail. 2 with the correct positioning will hold a snail. Yeah.
And we do have Piney going for a lot of income here, just to allow himself to get this early gold with the hybrid, to enable himself to at least have a decent chance of having those units. Did roll the Tempest and the Infiltrator, so that's a similar start we saw in the first day here from Piney. but doesn't get the work here.
And here come the income sends. So Buzz, Chuvis, Adams, they're all going for that 40 Mythium income send, boosting their economy further, and of course, making sure that they can keep their income rolling in. Piney, he's low rolled here. If you see, that is the worst tier 1 that you can get with hybrid, because you pay something like 18 gold for your tier 1, and the looter's only worth 10. So that's an 8 gold lost there.
So 8 gold lost there, but as we see, the 20 on wave 2 against the priestess was very crucial for Adamus. Allows him to push to 6 workers already. And now that the DTs is on Chuvis, he will be able to push those workers, even though he could have done that a little bit before. And he did go for the Steed and the Serpent, and I must say, very good aggro between the two here. But look at this, the DT send here onto the Infiltrator of Piney does lead to a 48% lead.
Yeah.
But that's just because you don't have the ward, you low rolled the tier 1 as well, you've got nature defense as well, so not the best roll from hybrids here in the early game. But still,
no, I think he has low rolled a little bit there. Like the looter is the worst tier 1, the bazooka's not amazing. I think the buckler as well is obviously very poorly typed for wave 3, so maybe not the most lucky hybrid rolls there, but I'm sure he can come back. And meanwhile, Mr. Buzz, 7 workers here, so taking a nice early aggressive lead there.
But that's the power of the Fire Archer start here. Like, we know that the Fire Archer start is pretty aggressive, and receiving another 40 here will just allow him to push to 9 workers pretty much, because he has a strong defense here on wave 5. But look at this, we do have an 80 send onto the Priestess, despite sending the 20 and the 20 again.
And that consort's dying pretty quickly. This might spell trouble. Oh, the mask though, that is so clutch. The mask just tanking a few units there.
The mask tanking was good.
Leak, but...
Is it? The life steal here, the regen?
Yeah, I think he can't kill the last 3. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so the 3 goes out. It is a little bit less than 33% because it was...
Oh, but meanwhile, Piney 50% on the other side, lane 2.
Oh, he only added a buzz here. And that was a DT send? So DT Snell. So DT is pretty good against Tempest because it doesn't give it more damage. Because Tempest's ability only works on ground units, and that's not wave 4.
Yeah. And you've got to say as well, like if he didn't low roll the looter on wave 3, let's say he gets a buzz on wave 3 instead of the looter, well now he can get a consort, which is just amazing on wave 4, and then he probably just holds the send.
But you have Mr. Buzz at 8 workers, not going to the 9th worker. Yes, he does go to the 9th worker. So he wants to keep the pressure on. 9 workers, he is a bit of trouble on wave 6, but he can get the Yuzura. So do you think he try and shift here to get the Yuzura?
I mean, he might have to, right? Because what else can he do on wave 6?
Alright, so if he income sends, he needs a leak here. He needs a leak from the opponent, or he will be needing to sell some of those Bone Warriors that we see.
But is there going to be... I mean, there might be a leak. Like, the Brute is coming out. It will kill the Bone Crusher fairly quickly. But it might actually jump onto a Steed. Let's see. But this double Steed with the Fire Archer is a very, very high amount of magic damage. Just watch this Fire Archer constantly doing that 50 magic damage against the bot. It dies very, very quickly.
Yeah, but I want to emphasize into this. This is crucial for Chuvis also. It is exactly one of the Scorpions attacking the Fire Archer. If it didn't focus, it was still fine. Because that's the amount it can tank forever. But now with
will
this...
still leak, but it's only a small leak. You know, it's a Brute, it's 2 creeps, and I think the Snail, the Snail gets through as well. So 36%, it could have been much worse.
It could have been much worse, but now this enables the 9 worker of Mr. Boss to get the Yuzura on wave 6. This leak
that's
is enough
pretty
gold.
clutch. That is pretty clutch. Chuvis and Adams, they're saving up some decent amount of Mythium, by the way. There's 140 already on Adam. Is he going to go 6, or do you think he might just go straight 7 now?
It's just 7. You see the Infiltrator. You see the Infiltrator, you know it's a potential Orchid. You know that, yes, you have a Tempest as well. But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that that's not really good on wave 7. Yes, he has the Boar, but where's the damage after that?
And but look at this, Mr. Buzz. He's calling the wave 7 send. He doesn't go Yuzora here. He goes Sandbadger.
But he's
That's
vulnerable
some
to a Mimic.
Great reading of the game there from Mr. Buzz.
He's still vulnerable to a
told
Mimic.
perfectly. Of course, yeah, but it's much better than Yuzora would have been.
That is true.
Look
But
at this, Piney. He maybe low rolled his tier 6 there as well because he had to sell his Serpent for this, and it's a great ball that he gets on wave 6.
But at least he has a front line, right? He has a front line. That means that he will receive brutes, so he needs to find an answer to brutes.
Yeah.
And what is the best tier to find an answer to that? That's the question. What unit are you thinking about?
I'd maybe go for like a tier 5 of the hybrid, something like that. Hope for, a Berserker, Yuzora, something along those lines.
That's an ogre. That's an ogre
That is
going
an ogre.
an ogre
And an
against a
ogre
badger.
is a yikes. That's going to be a rough one for Mr. Buzz to try and hold. I think he probably goes for a second Sandbadger in the split here as his best hope to hold.
That's not what you want to see. If you're receiving on wave 7,
Oh, he's selling to get a bunk, and the ogre's just going to absolutely chew through that.
yeah, he's predicting the Mimic. The Mimic is the wrong prediction. He had more Methium than that. It is the ogre coming in.
Oh,
and so
that's
the
a
bunk
240 send on 7. I can't look.
and Piney did not.
No.
Piney did not have the luck to roll a good tier 5 unit. He rolled the Antler, one of the worst options. But
Oh,
look
that's
at this.
probably one of the worst things he could have got. Yeah, the luck is just not on their side today. Oh, Mr. Buzz, he's doing a pretty good job. Like, he's cleared a lot of the wave, but that's
Yeah.
still an 80% leak just because the ogre is worth so much gold. And Piney 70% there as well. This is a dangerous amount of creeps. It's only 8, but it's a full HP ogre. It's a near full HP pack leader. This is going to chew into the king's HP.
Yeah, and don't forget the pack leader gives bonus attack here onto the sludges as well as the blobs. And this will be a lot of damage on wave 7 already. And you need to emphasize into the positioning of Mr. Buzz here. The bunk not tanking the ogre straight away does allow him to clear more than we expected.
Okay, I'm reading the chat, by the way, and I see that the game music is a little bit loud, so maybe you could pull that down slightly, and then in 5 minutes' time, when the delay kicks in, we'll have a lower volume game music. Apologies for that in the Twitch chat.
I mean, okay, then that's a weird one. Okay, sorry about that.
So we see, I mean, that king damage was insane. They're down to 35% already here on wave 7. How do Buzz and Piney come back from that?
Okay, sorry about that. I don't understand. I've checked the sound levels and it should have been very low compared to our voices.
Huh. There was a few people commenting that in the chat, so...
So sorry about that. I did check and yeah, but it looks like that the program is not really accurate from that. But let's look here. We only had
more resends.
Yeah.
More resends from Buzz and Piney, and it's just food for Chuvas and Adams here. They hold easily. Adams pushing up to 16 workers here on wave 8. And here comes the counter send. There is Imp and Hermit against Piney. There is Mole and Snail against Buzz. But look what Mr. Buzz gets here.
That's a Haven. Yes, the Haven is quite good. It will allow him to push quite heavily now. He can't be aggressive and force a 12 cent. I think they want to force a 12 cent with their units.
Well, they need to survive here first. And Adams, he will be adding the Hermit for this wave. So Mole and Hermit, pretty much good units against the Haven because it's going to heal all of that reflect damage. Mr. Buzz just sold some units. I guess it was to even up his split a little bit.
Yeah, he wanted the Bone Crusher to tank a little bit the split here.
Yeah.
And bring some of it to the Badger and let the Haven do the DPS.
Well, it's really nice split aggro, actually. The Bone Crusher is tanking half the wave, and now that half of the wave goes onto the Badger, which frees up the Haven to tank the other half of the wave, which it's had all along. But the Mole and the Hermit is just perfect against the Haven's reflect damage. Look at it just minimizing the damage taken by the wave, healing it back up. He does snipe the Mole, however. That's really crucial there for Mr. Buzz. But he's still going to leak.
Yeah, he's still a leak. He's crucial. We do have a leak as well on Piney. Is this enough to kill them? That's a lot
This might be game. This is 65% on Piney. This is 47 on Buzz. and their king's at 37% HP. I think this might just be over, Shadow.
Yeah, I mean, there's no pack clear, but those Carapace does a lot of damage to the king. It's
And
how
the
much?
Hermit's healing them
3,000?
up. The wave is nearly full HP by the time it reaches the king.
The spell is Chain Frost, not ideal to kill multiple units, and it will be indeed enough damage to kill them. And so we will
That
have
was a
game
quick
1. Yeah, game
That
1.
was a really quick game 1. Well played, Chuvis and Adams, taking a decisive victory here in the first match.
Yeah, game 1 going to the upgraded bananas, and we must say that's the risk of playing hybrid. You are vulnerable in the early game because you don't have the economy to sustain those tier 6 production. But if you're lucky, if you're able to fend off the early sands, you are in a good position to push workers as well as adding more tier 6 to protect yourself. But as we've seen, the long save here against Spiny did not help him, especially since he did leak wave 3 and 4. And yeah, he was forced to sell to get his tier 6. The tier 6 was not ideal for wave 7. But yeah, I'll let you continue commenting about the game here while I update the scoreboard.
Sure. So I think it's fair to say that Piney kind of low-rolled his hybrid picks here. Getting the bazooka and the buckler for wave 3 was just not the right drops for him there. He would have loved to see something like a Nekomata. That would have been probably an easy hold there on wave 3. And then with a Nekomata, he can increase the stacks and almost certainly hold the wave 4 send as well. So let's just say that instead of a bazooka and a buckler, he rolls Nekomata one time. I think this game gets very, very different very quickly. He might just even be able to completely turn things around just off that one roll of a Nekomata on wave 3. But then, yeah, that didn't happen. He kind of low rolled the hybrid. He leaks then 40% on 3, 50% on 4. And the game just becomes difficult from then on. You know, he's behind a little bit in gold, behind a little bit in workers. And Chuvis and Adams are able to long save because they have the extra gold from holding the sends that they received, and of course the leak gold from Piney, which enables them to go straight 7 with massive sends, which, to be fair, Buzz and Piney held pretty well. You know, they got a 240 send on 7 for Mr. Buzz and a 180 for Piney, and all they leaked was 3 sludges and the send each. So there's 3 sludges from Buzz, 3 sludges from Piney, an ogre, and a pack leader. So they held pretty damn well considering the size of the sends. But again, it just was so much damage on the king there for wave 7, bringing them down to 35% HP. And again, that mountain that they need to climb just gets higher and higher.
Yeah, it's the ogre. The ogre early, when it reaches a king full HP, that is the most terrifying thing. And without king upgrade, that's very hard to deal with. So looking at the options here, I'll ask the player's confirmation, but I do believe that we've seen the redraw option from Chuvis and lock-in from Adamus. So they will not be able to retake those. And we'll see what they decide to do. Do they pick Atlantean, do you think?
I mean, they kind of have to, right? Well, they don't have to. They can just swap their picks over, can't they? So they can just lock in and redraw on the other player instead. I would quite like to see an Atlantean, though. I wonder if Piney goes for hybrid again, or if he feels like he's got his fingers burnt in game 1 there.
It will be interesting to see. Just gonna confirm the picks with the player. Because they did not send it to me. Just remember, if you are participating, you need to send to me what were your options, and they confirmed that I read that correctly. And what do you think needs to change here for Mr. Buzz and Piney in game 2 to try and recover here from game 1?
I mean, honestly, just get better rolls in your hybrid. So I know that's like a very off the cuff answer, but Piney was very unlucky there. Like the wave 3 where he needed something like an Nekomata and he gets instead a buckler and a bazooka. You know, like if he gets a arcane tank there, and especially the Necromata would have been the perfect solution. That's almost certainly why he was rolling tier 2s, because he wanted to get that Neko. The whole game is different there because Neko is obviously a very strong unit on 3, a very strong unit on 4 if you can get it to 5 stacks. And I just think that everything kind of pans out differently from there. But he was already behind in the game then from wave 4. So let's see, is he going to play it safe and go with a different role, or is he going to go hybrid again? And he is. So good. He's not afraid.
Okay,
He
that's
is the
good.
hybrid master. He's sticking with his hybrid, and Mr. Buzz is sticking with his YOLO as well. And it looks like Buzz has got a kind of semi-solid role with maybe a shaky early game, but he has got a boar, he has got an aqua, he's even got Deathcap as well, so potential for a very strong AoE role. I'm just a little bit scared for his early game. I wouldn't mind seeing a wave 1 reroll here from Mr. Buzz, honestly, to see if he can pick up a tier 1 or something like that.
Well, I mean, it's quite possible to play that role, but I would have started Flower. If you had the choice, I think Flower is a much stronger start. It transition into then an Aqua. Then you can either greed workers or try to get that Infiltrator out. You need that Orchid on wave 6, that's for sure. But at least he has the Aqua for 7 and 8. Looking at Piney, hybrid, nothing to talk much about. He does go with the same kind of strategy here. Try to get those tier 3s unit as much as possible. Finds to be the most stable start here for him.
Yeah, I think the tier 3 is definitely a strong start. He really wants to pick up something like the Warg, and an Infiltrator is usually one of the better picks to go with that, or a Wild Shroom is probably one of the better ones as well.
But yeah, state is still pretty fine, still very good on wave 3 due to the self buff reducing the damage taken from the wave as well. We do have King Ups all around. Adam is going for the Nightmare start with his redraw, and Chuviz going for the Bounty Hunter with his lock-in. So I think the lock-in was Angler on the side of Chuviz, looking at his role. And he doesn't have a bad one, to be honest.
No, he's got a pretty solid role. Like, you have the Infiltrator there to protect your Bounty Hunter on wave 3, 4, and 6, which is a pretty solid pairing with it. And even the Deep Coiler as well, very, very good. But he's got a very early game aggressive focused role, right? His most expensive unit is the 135 gold Pilgrim. He doesn't have any top end, but look at a Dam's role though.
Yeah, that's what I was about to comment.
Kind of a dream role, honestly.
That's what I was about to comment. Chuviz having the early game role, he needs to cover the early and the mid game, but Adamus has the Holy Avenger with Butcher. And paired with a Nightmare, it does mean that it does pretty well as well if you put the Holy Avenger here in front of the Nightmare, then the Butcher, a higher split. All those units synergizes pretty well together, and you know that in the late game, you have the Holy Avenger to protect you.
Yeah. And there's even the Vampire as well. So if you didn't think it was good enough already with the Butcher, the Nightmare, the Avenger, well, just throw the Vampire spell on top, and all of a sudden, that Sovereign in the late game is stealing for 73% from the entire wave when it gets its AoE full mana going. So I think that's an absolutely terrifying role if the Dams manages to get it rolling. Let's just see if this game does go long enough for him to make full use of that incredibly powerful late game role.
Yeah, and now we do see only income sense here. Mr. Buzz going for the Snell, I mean, doesn't make much sense. Maybe just auto send because he had 6 in gold. The Snail does not do anything for him.
I think they might be memeing. I did see Mr. Buzz pop into the Twitch chat in between matches saying that auto send is OP. So maybe they're playing auto send in the third place playoff of the Shadow Cup.
Well, Piney is surely not because he's saving Methium.
Not.
But Mr. Buzz with YOLO having the income lead right from the start compared to the options of Adamus and Chuviz. Let's remember that he starts with +3 income compared to them.
And that adds up pretty quickly, honestly. Like, +3 doesn't sound like that much, but what it does is it lets you hit break points that you wouldn't otherwise be able to. So you can push those extra workers and still get the like massive power spikes that you need at the right time. It's honestly, you can't underestimate the amount of extra power that +3 income gives you. And by the way, it's worth mentioning, we look at Piney's lane too.
Yep.
Look at what he managed to roll this time.
That is very good for him now. That is
Yeah.
a very strong unit in the early game, the cat. It is strong every single wave except 7 and 8, of course, because you just need to send a brute. But it's all about the thresholds in the early game with the cat.
Yeah. But more to the point, specifically in hybrid, the Neko is one of, if not the best tier 2 that you can get, because it's worth 60 gold and you're paying much less than that to get
Yeah.
hold of it. So it's really a big boost to his power when he can pick up a Nekomata for. I'm not entirely sure what the cost is at the tier 2 in hybrid, but it's certainly a lot less than 60.
But you do have Adamus taking the worker lead because of the continuous send of Mr. Boss. Yes, he is at 7 workers, but he needs that orc. He needs that orc in next wave, but he's not going to get it because he needs to build here. For sure, he needs that Wanderer, I think.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. But there's income sends all around, so there's snails from Buzz and Piney, there's dragon turtles and fiends from Adams and Juvis,
Yeah.
and I don't think anyone's going to leak. Adams is very low value though, very low value.
Adam's very low. He has 2 Hove Breakers though, that's totally fine. He doesn't have a big send coming his way. The bigger send is on Mr. Buzz. It's all about the environmental living, and it looks like
I think he's
it will be
fine.
leaving.
I think he's absolutely fine because the Wanderer respawns now, the Fire Elemental stays on 50% HP, and is just able to deal out so much damage. I think it's an easy hold there for Buzz. But it's also an easy hold for Adams with his 375 value.
Ah, damn it.
The one person who it looks like is not holding, by the way, that's Mr. Juvis. He had 426 value, but the Bounty Hunter and the Angler just not quite enough here.
Yeah, not quite enough. Sorry about that. I forgot to switch the scenes.
Have we cast the first 5 waves on
Yes.
on the pick and ban scene?
Yes.
Technical difficulties. Apologies for that, viewers.
We're trying to keep up, try to give the best experience. I'm sorry for that. But we do have income sends coming in. Mr. Buzz going not for an income send here, going for the brute. He's going for the brute, but he does have. Are you there, Penny?
I am here. I'm just
Okay.
writing to the viewers in Twitch chat.
Okay. So he has the butcher taking it with the Oathbreaker and the Nightmare, but you do have the brute still coming in. It can still be very good because he doesn't have much defense for that wave. Yes, the butcher can tank quite a lot, but it's all about the question of when is the Nightmare dying or taking the aggro.
And it looks like it's pretty perfect, honestly. The Nightmare and the Butcher split tanking there, absolutely fantastic for Adams. Now the split wraps around, all goes onto the Butcher, but meanwhile the Nightmare is free to clear up the entire split. This looks pretty much perfect for him.
Pretty much perfect. We do have the corridor coming up from Chuvis and we'll be fine.
So he might even end up leaking 1 creep, but that's really no problem. And I think it is just a full hold, in fact. So that was an 80 Mythium send from Boz. Adams holds it, no problem. He pushes up to 10 workers.
And that's 11 workers. He's just pushing.
11 workers. Wow.
And I mean, that's the 12th, I think. That's a 12th. Yeah.
I think if Mr. Buzz did something like a post-income brute, it might spell disaster for Adams, though.
Yeah, it might. But does he have the what it takes to go for the call and go for a recent here? Since the start, he has been sending a lot to Adamus, and he knows that he's feeding him, and Piney is feeling the pressure.
There's a small income resend against Chuvis, but that's an easy hold. But Adams, he's 585 value here on 7. He's going high progressive. He even pushed up to 12 workers.
Yeah,
I think if Mr. Buzz sends him on 8, he might be in a lot of trouble.
Yes, wave 8.
What can he do? Like a second Nightmare, but...
Yeah, wave 8 will be a problem. He needs a leak here, or close to something. He does not get it. Piney is pushing a lot here. He is high value. He has high push now. And that's the power of hybrid. You can generate value out of thin air. And that's the power of it. And also, the Sea Serpent is somewhat of a growl also in hybrid. So even though it's misplaced, you can keep it and then sell it for 90% of its cost and get another unit after that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we do see, I think one thing that's worth looking at in Mr. Buzz's role is he has re-rolled now. And look what he picked up. He got that APS. So he hasn't quite got the Zeus Boar APS combo. It's not as good as that. But the Aqua APS Boar combo is still pretty solid. It's not as good against like single targets like Wave 20, for example. But honestly, that Aqua combo with all of that magic damage coming out from the Fire Elemental is not to be sniffed at. I think he might have a pretty strong late game if we get that far.
Yeah, they just need to end the game before Wave 20. They need to aim at 19. 19 is looking already pretty weak for all of the units of Chubis and Adamus, especially with the Holy Avenger.
Yeah. Oh, here comes an 8 snail send from Mr. Buzz on Wave 9.
Alright, let's bring
love
out
it,
the
dude.
snails, guys, in chat if you want. Just spam snails. Whatever you have similar to a snail, just do it. Because this is going to be...
That's pretty funny.
That's going to be a lot of snails coming his way.
That's pretty funny. I think Piney and Buzz have set out to entertain today. And they're certainly achieving that. Oh, Piney just double rolled egg sack, by the way. He's going for a tier 6.
Yeah.
And he went egg sack, and
Yeah.
then
He
the soul
loses-
gate.
he
You
loses
don't lose much gold, but you lose some gold.
Yeah, you lose some gold. It's 90% of the gold return of the base. It's still a little... It's close to the base gold necessary for tier 6. You don't gain gold, but you lose just like 5 or 6 gold, something like that.
Yeah, look at this dangerous end here against the dams. 8 snails and 3 king ups.
Yeah, the scene's supposed to change soon. Yeah, okay, it is
There we
changing
go.
now. Okay.
There we go. Now, there was one real send out of all of these kind of income sends, and this is on Chuvis. He gets 3 brutes, and his kingpin is going down. I don't know if the deep coiler can hold the rest of the wave by itself. It might be close though, because the brute is low HP, so that's getting focused now.
And
I
if
think
the
it's going to be a
brute,
very small leak.
yeah, if the brute was not focused, it would have been a bigger leak. But this is 3 carapace, only going to be leaked, but that will be held in the middle by Adamus.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not entirely sure that's worth for Piney when he could have just taken income instead like the other players did. But it's a leak nonetheless, so maybe not to be sniffed at. And what's more, he did manage to keep Chuvis's work account very low all this way into the game.
Yeah, so Mr. Buzz and Piney at 12 and 14 workers, Adamus at 16 and Chuvis at 15. So even though they have some kind of scaling potential with the Aquas and the Boar, they do have some trouble on wave 10 and also on boss waves.
Yeah.
So
And
we
there's
do have
more
again
income coming out. So everyone's just going for a very high income game this time around, it looks like.
Yeah,
Last game we had that long save into kill sends, and this game's the complete opposite. Everybody just wants to scale.
so very high income game. We will see a leak from Mr. Buzz, but Piney rolling the Boar again in the front line. Not ideal for him. We have the Nightmare here from Adams.
Ooh.
Doing pretty well here. Will be able to clear. And
I
the
think Chuvis
Kingpin,
is not holding.
the Kingpin died. So yes, this is a leak.
Yeah.
But
25% there from Chuvis, and
Yeah.
it looks like Adams is going to leak as well. But everybody leaks. This is a full Fiesta. And Piney's very close there, the 1% HP Granddaddy. But this is a full-on Fiesta. All 4 players leaking the Granddaddy here on 10.
yeah, it was expected from Mr. Buzz to leak that because he had the Aquas on the board, no single target damage. But quite surprising to see Adamus and also Chuvis leaking that.
Yeah. Nobody takes any real amount of damage though, and here we see the Vampire pickup from Chuvis. Adam's obviously taking the same. Buzz and Piney, they both take press the attack though, but they're using that to upgrade their king.
Well,
They're not going for the aggression, they're just going for increasing their own income.
yeah, that's the better defensive play. Like you're gonna be able to scale better in the late game, and as we discussed, when you reach that amount of Aquas with the boars in the late game, you just need to reach 19. And after seeing that on wave 10, they've seen it on wave 10. They just have to say, yeah, okay, we just need to go continue incoming, skip one wave, and go for 19. I mean, there's no real front line to speak of, very strong ones at least, on Adamus and Chuvis. But Chuvis getting a big send here, 280.
Yeah, this is a full send coming out from Piney. It's only income stuff, but he is hoping for a leak here because he took the press the attack and he spent it all on sending dinos. Now this Kingpin is dying.
This
As
Kingpin
soon as
is
that
dying.
goes down, that's pretty much all of his damage. Like
Yeah, especially since the Pilgrim is distracted in
now
the
the
split
coil
here.
is taking focus as well. This is going to be a half decent leak from Chuvis here.
Yeah, and the Pilgrim, yes, it's useful for
Oh,
healing,
the
it's
Pilgrim
useful
does
for
kill the
damage.
dino. That's pretty clutch.
Yeah, that is important. That is important. It's only the wave. 58%
So
could have been worse.
58% leak there. It could have been a lot more if the dino had managed to survive. It would have been around 70.
So still pretty good. Adamus and Chuvis able to push the 20 workers, but I think you can expect Adamus to be a little bit more aggressive in the push. Right now that he has the vampire, at least triple lifesteal Holy Avenger here.
Yeah. The triple lifesteal Avenger is just an absolute beast of a unit. And wait until he gets that up to Sovereign as well. We're going to see really insane holds from Adams coming out in
Yeah.
this game.
But it's very critical now. It's critical for Mr. Buzz and Piney to go for the weak wave of the Holy Avenger. And we've discussed it on my stream yesterday night. Like we've talked about what is the weak wave of that, what is the weak wave of Great Boar and Zeus, and we've come to the conclusion that with an Holy Avenger, you're kind of looking at high damage wave, so wave 15, wave 18, wave 19, and wave 20 to leak it. Because it's all dependent on if he gets enough mana, and so if you have too much damage for the amount of hits you're giving to it, then it doesn't get the mana and doesn't go full mana.
Yeah, but look at this. Chuvis and Adams. Look at the amount of mything they have saved up.
Yeah.
320 on Chuvis, 240 on Adams. They're not playing around. They're going for go for a big leap on wave 13, I think.
Yeah, it will be 13. You have the boars, you have the aquas. Not the ideal setup for wave 13 for Mr. Buzz. It's all reliant on Piney's and his Hellgate. I think he will go for Hellgate. That is the best solution. And Adamus recognized that. He recognized that Piney has a stronger setup on 13, goes for income. He knows that he has the Holy Avenger to scale. They just want to bring Mr. Buzz out here.
Yep. Right. So here comes the siege round. That is a very strong send against Mr. Buzz. It's going to tank all of the range damage from his aquas. The best that Buzz can do is boost those orchids, which I suggest he does.
Yeah, and just a quick comment. Mr. Buzz did not send here. They recognize that they are playing against the Holy Avenger and they
Ooh.
need to go for a big leak on wave 15 and then possibly go for a longer one on 19.
Piney should hold here as well. Like Piney has the Hellgate, he's only receiving income. So even though Buzz is likely to leak pretty hard, I think Piney should be able to cover in the mid.
Yeah, and that's a great call for Mr. Buzz to not send here, knowing that Piney is pretty strong on that wave.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
Yes, you accept the leak, you take the loss of gold here, just to put pressure on the stronghold here. You know that you cannot face it into the late game if it goes very late, so you need to prevent him from pushing those workers.
Oh, but is Piney holding?
Oh no, he's
I'm not sure that he is.
He's not holding.
This is a way bigger leak on Piney. I expected him to hold, but no, this is a 90% leak there from Piney.
And Chu is leaking to income sen.
Wow, I mean, they're going to take a high amount of king damage here on the left-hand side.
Yeah, that's a little bit
Me,
too
I can
much.
Lishigal. They're about to go pretty low now on the left side king.
I mean, the call was good, but Piney needed to hold here, and I did think that the Hellgate was enough here, but it looks like it wasn't.
I guess his tank line just wasn't there. Like, his other tier 6 units, the Ball and the Bunk, are very weak on wave 13, so he didn't quite have the meat shield up front to allow the gate to get those summons out. And they're down to 28% HP as a result.
Yeah, and that's a lot of gold. That's a lot of gold going on the side of Adams. And
Adam's now on fire with a 50 gold shutdown on his head.
And now you have Chuvis recognizing that Sovereign is weak on wave 15. And he just prepares for that. He goes for mass pilgrims, and that's gonna bring some problems for Mr. Buzz and Piney.
Yeah. And what Chuvis is really going for is a very large Peewee, because you can see he has the double chieftain already. He has the Peewee in front. Just look at the size of Chuvis's Peewee when this wave starts. Bam! 3,250 HP. That is a pretty chunky Peewee he has there.
Yeah, but let's see if it will be enough on wave 15 here. Piney only going for income here. But Mr. Buzz needs to try to break Adams here. He does have to face a
He
white
has
main
a
as well.
massive amount of Mythium.
So the best send here, 4-eye. He needs a 4-eye here. The 4-eye will be behind the boss. The boss will take a lot of hits from the Sovereign before dying. The 2 4-eyes are coming
And
in.
there are 2. What's better than 1 4-eye, 2 4-eyes? I wouldn't have minded seeing something like a Ghost Knight as well, to be honest, because look at everything that Adams has. He has 1 Nightmare, it's not even upgraded, and everything else he has is impact damage. So I think a Ghost Knight could have been extremely high value against Adams.
Yeah, but Mr. Buzz did tune into my stream yesterday, and he knows what is the best send here. Triple 4-eye is the best send, but he's going to go for double 4-eye here, possibly
Pack
adding
Leader
the
or
pack
something
leader.
like that to go with it.
Pack leader seems to be the play here for him. No, it's
Just
going for lizards. Okay.
But look at this, there's still 2 Iron Scales that they need to chew through. That is a very high amount of Arcane Armor, and they both have a White Main Aura as well. Sorry, one of them has a White Main Aura.
But now the main thing is that at least one of the 4-eye is protected here. That is massive. Yes, this one will get sniped, but this one in the back is protected by the boss, and that's crucial.
Both Iron Scales down. The Sovereign still hasn't taken even 1 hit point of damage, and the boss is nearly dead.
It's
now
just
the
not
Sovereign's
working.
taking damage, but it's just not going to be enough. Look at this, the Sovereign pops off, absolutely shattering the wave, just destroying everything in his path.
Yeah, he needed to deal with those Iron Scale a little bit earlier here.
Wow.
And I mean, the Iron Scale is just very good here for him. And Piney leaking
no, and Piney leaks the 1% HP Giant Quadrupus. Could this wave have gone any worse for Piney and Mr. Buzz? They need, like, that was an all-in send against the Dams, which failed because the Sovereign just stayed alive long enough to hit full mana. And then meanwhile, Piney leaking the 1% HP boss and losing out on that gold.
And now they just need not to give up. I mean, Mr. Buzz still a very strong role here in the late game.
Mr. Buzz is proposing a 3rd game to the viewers with YOLO only.
You can tell him that it is fine. We can do that. Yes. And so just tuning in here, just to explain, the red eyes and the aquas very strong in the mid game here, even on 18 here, because that's a lot of damage. He will be low on value though. That's the main part. He's not showing all his value. He's not showing all his value, or is he? Okay, he's building just a little bit here, but the main part here for Mr. Buzz and Piney is to reach wave 19. But Adams recognized that he doesn't want wave 19. He wants to finish that as soon as possible, and he pushed to 57 workers already.
Yeah. Oh, 57 workers on a Dams. He could potentially leak on 17, you know, because he has that Sovereign, he has the double Iron Scales, which are weak on 17. And even Tubis is not perfect there. He has a lot invested into his magic damage from the Chieftains. And okay, the Kingpins are very solid, but will it be enough if there's a big enough send on 17?
I mean, on 17, I don't see the Sovereign leaking. That's the problem. With triple lifesteal, I don't see it leaking. It's just a question of if the front line dies fast enough. And so it would be the Centaur, but I do think they skip. Yeah, they do skip. And they're gonna play to the strong wave of the Sovereign here. Adam is just wanting to.
They're gonna go straight for a wave 19 sends.
Yes, that was the call here, but we do have the Adams and Chubis recognizing that and just protecting the Sovereign and just sending on wave 18.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, look at this! I've never seen this before from Chubis. I love this.
Oh yeah, because
so he's managed to get the max stacks on the Lioness, because what is the one unit you can place in front of a Lioness that doesn't take a Chieftain buff?
Yeah, that is the decoder, and so that means that all the healing buff here, the HP buff, are on this 6-stack Lioness. So very effective build here. That's very
a really creative build there from Chubis. I really like that. I've never seen it before. I think that's a real big brain play, honestly.
It's very creative, and now we will see Sea Serpents built in the middle of the lane, thanks to him. Thank you very much, Chubis, from bringing that to the table so that we can get trolled by our teammates now.
Chubis has always been known as a very innovative player, and I really like this build that he's put together here today. I think that's an incredible build.
And we have here the full sense coming in. Mr. Buzz and Piney try to go for straight 19. But Adams and Chubis recognizing that and forcing the 18 cent, meaning that they are forced to income, and now there's pretty much no weak way for the Sovereign.
Yeah. They could maybe get something done on 20, because if there's
Yeah.
one wave that can out damage the lifesteal, it's wave 20. But look at this. Adams, I think he might be trolling a little bit.
Oh,
There's a
that's
5 Hermit
that's the
Send coming
King
out
Dance
from Adams.
special. That's the King Dance special.
There's 6 Hermits. So this is when you think you've already won the game, you can afford to mess around, you send the 8 Hermits just to taunt your opponents.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of that, but I mean, if both teams have agreed to go for a YOLO after that, they know that right now it's one. They know they just want to have fun here, so it's fine that way. But when you're in a rank ladder game and you're seeing that, you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, why don't you just kill me instead of just standing down?
Yeah.
But that will be enough anyhow to leak Piney here. The send is just too massive for him to handle. He's a
Yeah, and
1,000
he
under.
wasn't the strongest on this wave either. Like
Yeah.
the Haven, the Boar, the Gates, it's just not his strongest wave. And the 8 Hermits is enough to close this one out. It looks like there is 180% leak there on Piney.
Yeah, and for the viewers, we're gonna finish here with the Sovereign popping off here with the splash attack and not taking any damage whatsoever.
And Mr. Buzz says they don't want to go for a YOLO only game. So it looks like
Okay.
we will have to find some other filler content before the grand final starts here in around 50 minutes. But guys, well played here to Adams and Chuvis. This is a really solid performance from them here today. They take the 3rd place in the Shadow Cup and very well deserved bronze trophy going out to the upgraded Bananas. Well played Adams, well played Chuvis.
Yeah, so there's a proposition if you want to go with Mr. Buzz, it's fine with me.
I will play it.
Okay, so you can go. I'll leave your camera up, but you can mute yourself if you want. So this match is completed. We have our 3rd place and our 4th place decided. 3rd place is upgraded Bananas, while the 4th place is going to Eastmere Eigentlich Jal.
Ist mir eigentlich egal. Guten Spiel. Viel gut.
Alright, so you can talk about what happened in that game and what was the turning point. I'm adjusting the stuff here for stats and stuff like that.
Sure. Let me have a quick look at the match history. So it looks like I think Piney, he got better rolls this game. He did get that Nekomata on 3, which is a really high roll for him there in the hybrid. Everyone going for a very heavy income style game this time around. Pretty much looked like they had auto send on. Everyone sending income nearly every wave. And everyone was doing pretty well up to around wave 10, where all 4 players managed to leak their bosses versus income and king upgrades. So a little bit of a fiesta there. And then people start saving. So Piney did a full send against Chuvis on 11, which did result in a pretty big 58% leak. And then the save happens. And this disastrous wave 13 is really, I think, the turning point in the whole game, because we had a 440 send against Mr. Boz, who leaked 84%. And we had a 300 income only send against Piney, which he leaked 90%. And I've got to say, that's like his front line there, the Great Ball and the Banana Bunk are just not the units that you want to have on wave 13. I thought he might do okay there with the Hellgate, but it looks like it just wasn't enough. He was lacking the frontline tanks. He needed something like a natural tank. He needed just something to keep their Hellgate alive long enough to pump out those spawns and be able to clear the wave. So I think this really was the turning point. Wave 13, they went down from 93% king to 28%. And then the game just became very hard for them because they can't afford another leak, so they can't greed too heavily, and it just allowed Adams and Chuvas to kind of push, go for income, and just know that they can win in the late game. Then.
And I mean, this is a turning point because at this point, Mr. Buzz not sending to Adams. Adams recognizing that the weak wave that's coming up is 15, and just full preparing for it with iron skills here, just to buy more time for that Sovereign to scale up. And that was crucial because yes, the 4s are very good against it, as we've proven. But if it never attacks the Sovereign, then it's just the Sovereign just free attacks the boss, and the base damage of it is very high.
Yeah, absolutely. but it was a pretty hype matchup. Like I think it was pretty close up until wave 13.
Yeah.
And then Ishmir Eigentlicht, like their leaks there, it was just too much. They lost too much king HP, and of course the gold then that was sent over to the side of the upgraded bananas. Like it just gave them a massive advantage going into that mid to late game turning point, and I think it became kind of insurmountable, especially with Adams's incredible role. Like we spoke about it very early on in the game, but he had Butcher, he had Vampire as a spell, he had the Sovereign as well. He even managed to reroll into Whitemane and Iron Scales to cover the one weak wave of wave 15.
Yeah.
So even though Mr. Buzz went all in with a massive send there, it was 600 plus Mythium on wave 15.
Yeah,
And
640.
Adams was just able to fully cover because he had the double Iron Scales to tank, and that bought enough time for the Sovereign to hit full mana, and then we all know what happens when Sovereign hits full mana. It just becomes an unstoppable force of nature.
So yeah, and one thing that could have been done for Mr. Buzz and Piney is to continue going for income. Like, go for income on wave 13, both of you. Go for income on wave 15. Don't try to leak them. Reach the wave 19. You need to get to the wave 19, looking at what they have.
Yeah. Reach 19 maybe would have been their one way out.
Yeah, I think that was the correct play, but I mean, you see here on 17 the golems going out from Adams. He just recognized that 19 is the next possible send, and so that means that yes, okay, if you leak, if you hold wave 18 somehow, I'm still prepared with my golems. So
the lobby is up, by the way.
Yeah.
If you want to cast the YOLO show match before we get into the grand final.
Yeah, so the pick and ban will take place at 16:35.
Oh, that's plenty of time then for us to play our YOLO match.
Yeah, 16:35 for me, but 16:40 for the viewers.
Okay. All right. In this case, I think I might drop out of the casters channel because that wouldn't be fair, and
Well,
I will
you
probably
could-
see if
oh,
I can
yeah,
call
okay.
Mr. Buzz.
So see you later here, Piney. Well, you can defend yourself, maybe. Defend and also mute yourself so that you have your camera at least.
I was thinking I would call Mr. Buzz so that we can
Okay.
discuss the.
Then I'll remove
game.
the overlay for the casting here.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're free to go now.
All right. I'll see you soon, Mr. Shadow. Enjoy the cast.
Yeah, see you. And so now we have Penny taking place the place of Piney. But yeah, so Adams and Chuvis will be awarded the third place trophy that will send them to was sent to them once I complete the modification to it to have their team name and player name, and they will be able to do whatever they want with it. They can print it in 3D. They can ask someone and the surrounding to do a 3D model of it, and for whatever they do with it, I would love to see at least a picture of them with it if they do decide to do something like printing or things like that. And so we are ready to go for the YOLO show match. This is now out of the third place match. It has been decided. We are waiting for the grand final. And so everybody going for YOLO. Adams, not really sure. So I'm just gonna say that they can choose, but the game has started. So I think YOLO will be for everybody, and we will do a solo cast here of the YOLO only cast. And sorry for the game sounds early. I do hope it is better now. I do hope also that I will not forget to change scenes anymore. And I'm very grateful for players to tune in. If you guys want to contribute to the prize pool, you are free to do so. You can just use the donation button at the bottom to increase the prize pool that sits currently at 505 USD dollar, higher than I ever expected to see a prize pool, to be honest. But yeah, feel free if you want to contribute to the prize pool. There's a lot of people who have already contributed to it. I will do a shout out in the end of course, to those peoples. And also, I will do a giveaway of the last key of Legion TD a little bit later to at least allow the people that only wanted to see the grand final to join in, and possibly I'll do it at the end of the grand final, the giveaway, the shoutouts, and things like that. So let's now see what happens. YOLO only match Mr. Buzz Pennywise against Adams and Chuviz. We do have the mask or the mask infiltrator start here from Chuviz, and he has his Halo. So this is a very interesting build that Chuviz always go for, is tank on the right side and mask plus Radiant Halo in the split here. And it just means that this split tanks 3 to 4 units, and the Radiant Halo and mask are always able to do pretty well here. It looks like I'm a bit low compared to the game sound, strangely enough. But now it should be a little bit better for you guys. Yes, okay. So everybody going for Ascent on wave 1, but everybody going for King Ups except Adams and Chu is going for the Snail here, trying to deal with the others. So let me just adjust the game sound. So it sounds like it is a bit too high again. So I'm just bringing it down just a little bit for it to be a little bit better. And so 5 workers on Mr. Buzz and Penny, sorry. So Mr. Buzz going 5 workers with the Mudman can be risky, but he does have the Harpy behind it to have the 5 worker YOLO possible with the Priestess, and that's only possible with YOLO. And Adams does go for the same approach, but does not receive the Snail. Mr. Buzz and Piney does receive the Snail yet again, and that might speak some trouble from Mr. Buzz, but also to Penny if he's unlucky with RNG. With the positioning of the Priestess, it should still be fine here. He should be holding. It's all about that heal, and it does heal, so this is a hold. And we do have the Mudman leaking on the side of Mr. Buzz. On the other side, no sense to speak of, so Adam is able to push 6 workers, but so does Penny. And so, who does that favor is the one who saved the Mythium. It is Penny. Penny sitting at 40 Mythium, and he is able to send a little bit more than the others due to that fact. So the answer for this wave for Penny is to go for the Golden Buckler in the split here to share the aggro with the Priestess, but he is quite vulnerable to a Dragon Turtle Resim. So let's see what he decides to do. He does not have the perfect answer, and that's the problem when you sometimes push to 6 workers. You don't necessarily have the great answer. Oh, by the way, that's wave 3. I'm talking nonsense. It's just wave 3. So wave 3 will be perfectly fine with only the Priestess here for Penny. He is shifting out of gold here. He will probably go for a big unit, and the work is still a valid option. Mr. Buzz receiving the 40 here, but did harden. Can be vulnerable next wave. We did have also a send here onto Chuvis, but he has a red mask. He will be vulnerable on wave 5, and he does know it. He does have the infiltrator that will be turned into an orchid next time. So now income sends are coming on everybody. Income sends on everybody. And Adams with the worker lead. He does feel pretty comfortable with his fire elemental start. He's minus 100. He does have a decent swift tank. The fire elemental is partially tanking with it, and the send is a DT plus 2 snails. So the DT will harm him quite a lot, and nothing's going on the fire elemental here, so that's crucial here. And Penny did manage to get the berserker here, so that's pretty good for him. But the fact that Adams did not have share aggro between his infiltrator and fire elemental means that he will be leaking here, and that's not a small leak here, 60%. And that's not what he wanted to see. Penny able to hold, but on the side of Mr. Buzz, leaking due to the hardened Mudman here, but 32% only. So the biggest loser here is Adams, not having the shared aggro between the 2 units here that he wanted. But Chuvi is holding strong. Gives him a little bit more gold here. He does reach the... Yeah, he will reach the Orchid here without sending, but he does decide to go for the send either way. That was very close. So exactly 6 gold. It's always hard to predict how much gold this will give. And you're like, does it go? Does it go? Doesn't go? And then you're better off trying at least to do that, like here. So we will have Penny pushing heavily here at 9 workers. Quite a risky push. But here the Berserker will be able to tank quite easily. The 9 workers here, he will be strong on 6 with the Berserker, but he needs to protect the Priestess as well, but he does show a weakness on wave 7. So we'll see if Adams decide to go for wave 7. We do have Chuviz receiving the send here, but only income, because we do have Penny recognizing the potential Orchid coming in. And it is indeed a hold here from Chuviz, very big for him. He is able to push heavily now because he has a Tantrum Mask and he has an Orchid for wave 6. And so we will see him pushing to 10 workers, I believe. No. Yes. The 10th worker came in. He has 40 gold left. I don't think he uses it for anything here. Maybe for the mask, a little mask to bring behind the Orchid to have a little bit more walking distance before the split goes back to the mask. But that might still come next wave also. So income sends coming from Adamus and Chuviz here. Adamus going for double lizards, Chuviz going for double DTs. DTs are not a bad option here because you want to buy time for the wave to deal damage. And the wave is the damage here because he only has fortified armor. And that's not looking good for Mr. Buzz here. 2 DTs should be enough to leak him. The lizards are doing work onto the priestess and the berserker, but he has also a badger. And the priestess is not surviving. And the badger is alive, yes, full HP, did not share the aggro with the berserker. But it is a 50% leak here on Mr. Buzz with 3 Rokos. So not the best experience here for Mr. Buzz. But Penny, able to push to 11 workers, has a strong tank as well for next wave with the badger. So let's see if this will be enough for him to do well. And so the Rokos are potentially going to the king here. The Sand Badger is a very good tank, but not a good damage dealer, and does not even get 1 here. Was very close to getting it with the auto attack animation, but it will be some king damage going on the side of Mr. Buzz and Penny. They do strike back with the mole send on 7. I think they've got their number wrong. It's supposed to be a mole on 8. But on 8, it would have been a Tantrum Mask. So they just decide that 7 is the new 8. And so they decide to go for here. The tank line from Chuviz is pretty weak here. But he does have the Elite Archer to tank the split back here. So it might be the difference maker in that situation. But we're going to focus on the wave here with the Holy Avenger and also the Mask. They are the crucial waves. The other side decides to only go for income. The mole pretty good against pretty much everything that there is here. Mostly the fire elemental. Mostly the fire elemental, but it's all about the Holy Avenger. Can it survive long enough to get this stack going? It looks like it's too much damage at first sight, but it's doing super well for tanking, and it will be a hold in the end from Adams. And Chuviz, him, does not have that much luck. The mole better here, negating most of his Trinity Archer and Hellraiser damage. So the mole will go down here. Adams full holding the mole, but not a very strong hold. The fire elemental is exposed, and on the other side they held the income send. So we do have here the lizard attacking, but the fire elemental will not be able to hold here because of the mole still present, still dealing a lot of damage. And we are reaching the king on that side, and it will be some king damage back and a little bit more. So they are going blow for blow here. Mr. Buzz at 11 workers, Penny at 13, Adams going to 12, potentially 13. Yes, it is. And then Chuviz is going to stay at 12 workers. So a net 1 worker advantage for Adams and Chuviz. On the board, we do see Mr. Buzz and Penny being ahead in value because of these unspent gold yet. But Adams and Chuviz still going for income here. They have the Holy Avenger, so they want to try and work around that. They want that vampire on it, but it is not the terror that we saw in the previous game. The terror we saw in the previous game was triple lifesteal on the Holy Avenger, and that's not necessarily what you so we are going to turn down the game music again. I'm sorry, looks like it is too loud again. Uh, that should be better for you. I'm quite sorry. It seemed to be alright, but it looks like it just doesn't. It just isn't. The resend does catch Penny and Mr. Buzz off guard. And they are able to reach the king down there. And so it will be again king damage on their side. And yeah, king damage on their side. 11 workers, 13 workers, yes, but they did not. They did not go here. They did not push a single worker out of their leagues, and they are going for a break here. Mr. was only going for income here, but this send is still quite good against what we see from Adams, because the magic damage of the Drake is still quite high. Only income from Adams and Chuvis. We do have Mole Hermit going onto Chuvis to counter the Mask and the Trinity Archer. He does have the Orchid as damage. As soon as the Orchid dies, there's a very low chance of him holding, but there might still be a thing going on. So 240 Sen on Adams, 260 on Chuvis. We will see what it will turn out to be. The Orchid going down here, only mixed spread damage going down, and the Trinity Archer is not enough to deal the damage. The Mask is not enough to deal the damage, and this is the leak from Chuvis, a pretty massive one. What is about the side of Adams, he is able to hold due to the Holy Avenger able to scale up with the lifesteal, and yeah, so that means that the Holy Avenger on Adams is yet again the problem to be handled, but it is less terrifying than it was before. Only a double lifesteal without any Ocean Templar or White Mane to speak of. It will be triple lifesteal though, to be fair to them. There is the Vampire, but Chuvis having a rough time on wave 9. It is the weakest wave of his build, but he will be able to get the Radiant Halo on wave 10 here, right in front of that, but he needs to raise the split on that side if he wants that. Oh, he already did with the Ward last wave. So let's see, 19 workers on Penny, feeling good about himself here with the holds. But the leak on 8 did hurt him quite a bit, but he does have the Fatalizer, this is for sure. He is vulnerable on next wave, but he will be able to get the Azeria, that's for sure. Now, is 11 the Sen? 11 is the wave where the Hellraiser is a little bit weaker. And Penny and Mr. Buzz still receiving income here. So Adams and Chuvis just want to scale up. They recognize that they want to play around the Holy Adventure. And they recognize that they need the value to be holding. They will be overvalued on wave 10. But will they be on wave 11? That's the question. We do have the Pilgrim coming up from Mr. Buzz, very good with Harpies. Harpies will be the damage, while this bunk will try to survive as long as possible. We do have Mr. Buzz only going for income here. Dinos and Penny going for the 4-eye here, trying for the break. And to be honest, I don't think the 4-eye is the best send against what Truvis has. A Witch would have been much better, because a Witch allows you to add those little frontline units and still gain manas that gives him more Frogos and more damage. So I do think that the 4-eye, yes, is normally good, but when you're dealing with something like a Radiant Halo and as well as Mask, if you can spam those little units to add the spread damage of the Mask, then you're in a way better position. But Penny, he's going full. Alright, he's going for the Hermit, he's going for small stuff. So in the end, it will be a similar send than if it was a Witch. But that's a 420 send onto Chuvis. Not looking great for him. It's looking like it will be a leak. Yes, the 4i will do a lot of king damage if it, and only if it reaches the king. We do have here the Holy Avenger still alive and not tanking any damage. This is the Edge Chef tanking the damage. You have the Fire Lord in the backline as DPS as well. And that's a solid hold from Adam, but Chuvis is gonna leak, but smarter than expected. And Penny, the one that pushed here, not getting the Azeria, is not able to hold here because he did not go for that. But Mr. Buzz holding strong in the middle. Mr. Buzz pushing heavily here. 24 workers and still rising. That's quite a risky thing to do, especially for wave 13 that is coming. But Mr. Buzz going for the wave 12 here, and Penny joining him with the income only. That's because of the mask. So they want to try to scale to the late game here. I'm keeping track of the time for you guys. Don't worry. We still have 20 minutes left before the pick and ban of the grand final. So we will be on time. That's for sure. We maybe even being able to go for a break. But King Up's coming from Adams and Chuvis. Still going for income, trying to scale as much as possible. Penny going to join them with the King Ups for region that time. But let's see how the send from Adams works out. We do have Adams pretty low value here, and yes, the Mantis are pretty strong against the Holy Avenger. What is getting targeted here? Is it the Holy Avenger? The Holy Avenger is already going down, and so there's no more damage left on Adams, and so it will be a leak from him, and not a small one to be honest. So the recent here catching him off guard from Mr. Buzz, and Mr. Buzz is just pushing workers to 27, and he's able to put the pressure on. And Penny is not casting here because this is the game has already been decided between upgraded bananas and Eastmere Eigentlich Egal. And so this is a filler content facing Mr. Buzz and Penny himself against Adams and Chuvis in a YOLO show match. And so they are going for income here on Adams and Chuvis. And yet again, it's only income. And Mr. Buzz and Penny are going for the save. It's all going to be for the wave 15. I think 14, we do have a pretty safe Chuvis and Adams. But that might change. We did have Chuvis cover in the middle. Yeah, thank you for the precision in the chat, for the help also. Chuvis going for a 29 worker push as well, so feeling good. Adams did try to push as well, try to keep up, but with the Hydras, this is quite risky to do. But he needs a Sovereign next wave. If he doesn't get the Sovereign next wave, he'll be in trouble. That's for sure. So let's see if the Sovereign is coming up. Here the egg is tanking one of the golem, but it should be able to survive because this is supposed to come right in time to kill that, and it will indeed be enough time. And the Sens are coming because they saw this aggro here. They saw the aggro, the bazooka dragging the wave onto the egg, and that might still happen on wave 14. And honestly, I think Adams wants to have that. He has a Sovereign. And the Sovereign will be pretty good here. He does have the triple lifesteal going on with it, and it will be another Sovereign right behind the other in the future as well. So with this triple lifesteal on the Sovereign, also triple lifesteal on the Phoenix, we will see a quite hard time to league him, but at least he doesn't have a damage reduction aura such as the White Mage. So it might still be possible. Doesn't seem to have any arcane defense either. So wave 15 seems to be a good wave. But with 14 Sen, does mean that he probably doesn't go for that. The 4i, what is the 4i attacking? The 4i is attacking potentially the Sovereign. it is indeed attacking the Sol Ring now, at least, and it is all about how much can it do, and it looks like not enough. The lifesteal is just way too much here, healing 600 at one point, and Mr. Buzz leaking to the income send, but Penny holding. So here, Sol Ring being pretty strong, tanking the 4i forever, but in the future they need to spot the weak wave of the Sol Ring. That is for certain. So looking at what we see here, honestly, it does look like people will try to go for a 19 cent, but with those masks. But those masks are uneven waves though. So that's 16 and 18. So wave 19 is not looking too bad because all those masks are tantrum only on even waves. And so that might be problematic in the future for them. But let's see, income sent again from Adam and Chuvis. They know they have the very good roll with the eggs as well as the Sol Ring. There's no send coming on 15 this time. And this means that the Sol Ring will be able to hold here. We do have the eggs also possibly holding because of the lifesteal on the Sol Ring. And I think now he sells the bazooka in the split. I think he needs to sell those bazookas because if he doesn't, the wave 16 will go back into the egg and kill them. So that might hurt him in the future. And so, yeah, it is all about that Sol Ring now. And so, how do you break it? I mean, with the income sense, with the I value that they have now, you need to have Mr. Buzz pushing heavily at one point. So do you aim at wave 19? That is the question. Because now what Chuvis has, yes, he has those masks, but they are all upgraded on wave 18. He might go for more, of course, on wave 18. But with the incomes here, and what did he build? He didn't build, he just full pushed. Just full push here. And he will try to end the game on wave 17. They just don't want to bring it to late game, it looks like. And Mr. Buzz and Penny are trying to go for the 17 cent to counter those Tantrum Masks. So that might be the play as well. And so the income sense here will allow Mr. Buzz and Penny to push quite heavily. They did push quite heavily themselves. And so the 17 cent can be problematic for Mr. Buzz and Penny, for Adams and Chuvis, sorry. But Mr. Buzz leaking to no send, to Drake, sorry, to a little bit of a send, might indicate that Adams is a little bit of trouble, but he does have the Soaring with life still. Penny holding, still able to push. We do have the Witches. And the Witches is not a bad idea, but the problem is that the Sol Ring will be able to heal so much if it gets to ramp up. And so he needs at least a 4i, and the 4i can be reached after income. He does get it here. So the 4i will be here, there will be Witches to try and kill as much of the wave as possible. But once the AoE attacks from the Sol Ring kicks in, we will see him healing quite a lot due to those Frogos. So we do have 2 full Hydras on Adams, 2 weakened Hydra in the split. We do have still an egg, and Mr. Buzz is still pushing. He is full pushing here. He is trying to punish the Sol Ring on wave 17, but look at the value here. The value from Adams, minus 125 only. Not looking the weakest here. He does have a lot of nature defense, and so the witch spam does make a lot of sense here. And with the Snell addition, might make the difference. So 1300 Sen, 1100 Sen, only income on Penny and Mr. Buzz. We're gonna see how they manage. Mr. Buzz probably leaking. It's all about the Sol Ring. I do think that the Sen here from Penny should be enough to leak Chuvis here because of the high push. But look at the Sol Ring. The Sol Rings are half mana right now. There's one getting targeted now. There is only one getting targeted now, but the Frogo's attack does help him straight hit up. And this is the lifesteal we're talking about. That's 600, 700 per hit. That's way too much to handle. Even the Frogos are just not enough to kill them. and now the Sovereign reaches the backline. Just the life is just way too much here, and so the Witch not descend if you cannot reach the Sovereign fast enough. And here you go. That's what we're talking about. A lot of healing here from the Sovereign due to those Frogos being present, and that's the problem. One goes down, you still have the other one to take care of, and on the other side we do have a lot of the leak going, but it is still not game, and so they need to try to go for a clutch call here. We are not doing that in tournament play. I'm quite sorry, Piney, but I will do it the next time I stream. I promise you. But we do have here a full push from Mr. Buzz, a full push from Truvis as well, but Adams pushing as well very hard and still being overvalued here. Not feeling threatened by the push of Mr. Buzz, not by one bit here, but they recognize wave 20. They recognize wave 20, but it is crucial for Penny to hold this wave with Mr. Buzz. Mr. Buzz does go for double Phoenix, so he will be potentially able to hold this wave. And if they hold this wave, they need to reach wave 20 somehow. They need to reach 20 if they want to have a chance. And wave 20 will be quite hard to reach if Mr. Buzz is leaking that much every single round. And we do have the double Azuria doing work on Penny, but the front line is almost already down, and it might just not be enough to hold in the middle here. So 12 units, all of those are mostly the Drakes, and they go for a 19 cent here. Not sure if that's the right call, but it might still work. I don't think the Witch is the right cent either. I think the 4-eye spam is way better in that situation, but it is already down here. Mr. Buzz leaked too much for Penny to hold, and it is game for Adam and Chuvis, asserting their dominance in the YOLO matchup. So we are 10 minutes away from the pick and ban. We will take a break here to allow ourselves a little rest, and we will come back for the pick and ban. Let me just adjust the overlay for you guys while we are talking a little bit of that. So that game is probably the Sovereign again, with the life steal being problematic for the enemy teams to leak. And yeah, so AB's that's what I was talking also about in the previous day. There's a lot of income going on, and when it's a high income game, it's always favored the late game composition in the Holy Avenger and Lifesteal or Great Board with Zeus. And so if you have all of those, you are still... If you have all of those, you probably want to go for the income game like Adam the Chuvis did. But when you're in the opposing side, you need to go for a killing blow at one point. And so we're gonna take a break here. Before taking the break here, I'm gonna change the scene for you. And so we do have here the updated schedule here. And we do have, I want to take some time to thank the followers. Skippy the Racket, thank you for the follow. Also, Ipapito, thanks for the follow. Spickner, thanks for the follow. Netter, thanks for the follow. Thanks for the gifted sub, also, Booboy, to Is and He. Hope he enjoys the sub here with the shadow, not like this emote. Firespar, thanks for the follow. Thanks for the raid. Also, people who were outside of the stream. Primer Dimer, thanks for the follow. Zerok. And we also had a resubscription from Booboy. Thank you for that. Longola for the follow. And finally, LA. LA was outside of the stream, but still followed. So thanks for that. And thank you for the support, guys. If you want to contribute to the prize pool even more, you can do that by going onto the donation link on below the stream, and also if you want to participate in the giveaway later, it will be done after the grand final. And so on that, I'm gonna put you some beautiful music for 5 minutes while we do a little break here. We'll be back. That's not what I wanted. I just messed myself up. Yep, that's a professional thing. So I will mute myself. I will come with some campaign music for you guys while we wait. But yeah, so enjoy the break. We will be back uh, at 16:40 for the pick and ban for you guys. So be sure to be there. Um, it is 16:35 for the players, but with the delay it's 16:40. So be sure to tune in. So yeah, see you in a few minutes. Alright guys, welcome back. We are close to the pick and ban phase here. I hope you do enjoy the King Dan campaign music here. Quite quite important here for the community to have such a great player that is able to do amazing thing with the aggro and has been at the top since forever. And we will be able to go onto the pick and ban phase once I have arranged everything here, and yes, we will be there. So I'm going
Hello.
to welcome everybody here. Every players are here and ready for the pick and ban. So welcome King Dance representing #1 and Booboy and Roby representing the Dream Team. So how are you guys doing?
All good, man.
Yeah, doing good.
Ready for it.
So do you guys have the pick and ban screen in front of you?
Yes.
Wait a second. Yes.
So just a reminder to you guys, it is a best of 5, meaning that you will be needing to win with every single pick you take. So be sure to remember what pick you've gotten and to send it to me after each game you win, so that we can keep track of that as well on our side. And now I'm going to start with the global ban. So Boboy, please start with the global ban, and also Roby.
We want to global ban yellow.
Globally ban YOLO. And now King Dance, what is your choice here?
We're gonna ban mech.
Going to ban Mech. And now I'm gonna tell Booboy to pick 2 of his legions here.
We'd like to pick redraw and lock-in fighter.
Redraw and Lock-in Fighter. And King Dance, I'm gonna ask you to, sorry, misclicked that. I'm gonna ask you to pick the 4 choices you have here.
Okay, we're gonna pick Read, Redraw, Lock-in, and Forsaken.
Alright. Redraw, Lock-in, and Forsaken. And now, Booboy, would you please tell us what are your 2 last choices?
Our last picks will be Greed and Atlantean.
Greed and Atlantean. And now, looking at this King Dance, please pick 1 legion to ban from Booboy and Roby.
Gonna ban Greed.
Banning Greed. And now, Booboy, what do you decide to ban?
We will ban Greed as well.
Banning Greed. So this means that the options available to King Dance and Saiyajin are Redraw, Lock-in, and Forsaken. To win this specified, they will need to win on each and single one of those picks, and Booboy and Roby will need to win on every single one of the picks they have, Redraw, Lock-in, and Atlantean. So on that, I'm gonna ask King Dance to create the lobby here. We will be joining you very soon. We'll take 5 minutes to discuss about the picks and bans with Penny, and we will start the game after that. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, perfect.
All right. So good luck, guys, and the grand final. And yeah, may the best team win this today here.
Thanks, man. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, have
Better
fun.
opponents.
I just need to find my. Okay, here we go. Now we are going to discuss with Penny the pick and ban phase. Here, I needed to change the screen. Sorry, but you have the final step here. I'm quite sorry I didn't change the scene yet again, but it is now here. You do have the pick and ban from Saiyajin and King Dance, as well as Boobo and Ruby. And we will be joined by Penny very soon. He is now here.
Hello.
And can you just discuss a little bit of the pick and ban while I adjust the overlay for your camera here?
Absolutely, dude. So we see the global ban has changed a little bit this time around. We've actually got a global ban on YOLO. So it looks like someone decided to. I don't know which team decided to ban YOLO. But taking that one out of the pool is quite interesting to me.
The ban was made by team Dream Team, and so the mech ban was from
So
King
it's a
Dance.
respect ban against King Dance then. They're taking YOLO away from the king.
Yeah, because interesting thing, King Dance always opened the first match of a series with a yellow pick.
Yeah. And like we've said a couple of times before, when you get a decent roll with YOLO, you are just in a very strong position right from the start of the game because the 6 income is a really nice boost to your early game economy. Like, it's double the income compared to some of the other mastermind options. It's a really solid thing. Obviously, high variance because you need to get a good roll with it, and you can just shoot yourself in the foot and end up with a borderline unplayable roll. But as is often the case with King Dems, who always rolls natural 6s,
Yeah,
he gets a half decent roll with it and he just runs away with the game because the +6 income is enough to kind of catapult him ahead in the early game.
but I want to
Uh,
emphasize
the
here something. There is the equal redraw and lock-in expected from the mastermind options, but their legions are quite different. Forsaken and Atlantean here.
Yeah,
So
Forsaken pick is an interesting one to me, and they do have to win with it because now we're in the finals. Remember, this is a best of 5, so players need to win with all 3 of their options this time. There's no just pick 2 of the mastermind options and hope to cruise through to victory. No, they actually have to win with their legion this time around as well. Now, Forsaken, I actually think is pretty weak at the moment because it's a legion with no tanks. Like, the only tank option available is the Green Devil, which it is very good in the early game. But by the time you get to the mid and late game, Green Devil is just paper. The waves just absolutely shred it. So I think that's going to be a bit of an interesting one for me to see King Dans and Saiyajin winning with Forsaken. Meanwhile, Boo Boy and Robbie, the Dream Team, they have Atlantean, which I think is widely regarded as the strongest Legion in the game at the moment, just because you have that safe Hydra opener, you have Serpents, you have Kingpins. Very, very solid all around Legion. And then, other than those 2 flex picks, the Forsaken for #1 and the Atlantean for Dream Team, both teams have the same mastermind options. They both have redraw, they both have lock in. So I think it's going to be a fairly close match, and it might come down to whether Atlantean ends up being stronger than Forsaken, because remember, the teams have to win with all of their options.
yeah, exactly. So I did tell them that they needed to win with all of them. But yeah, we are in the lobby right now. I'm gonna change the scene right now so that we are still
You're in the
okay.
lobby.
Yeah, I'm
Did you
in
show
the
the
lobby.
pick and ban phase, by the way?
Yeah, I know, I know. It is shown on stream at the end, but I just realized afterwards. I'm quite sorry. I did practice, but I mean, on the moment, it's just a lot of stuff to consider, and I'm quite
Yeah.
sorry.
I mean, I was casting yesterday. There's a lot to think about because you have to not only cast the match, but you're also controlling the picks and bans, hopping between all the different scenes, updating all of the spreadsheets that you have running in the background. It's a lot of admin to do.
I do hope that the show is still interesting, despite that. But yeah, I did practice, but yeah, it's just on the moment it's a bit too much. But we are able, we managed, we have the right overlay, we have the game on the main screen going on, we have the right scoreboard, we have the 2 casters, we have the right sound level. This is the grand final. Everything is adjusted now. There is no more excuses to do mistakes here. And we will see who will take first place in the Shadow Cup here.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And this is going to be the moment that we've all been waiting for. This is the build up for the whole weekend. The players have been working very, very hard towards this. And we are about to crown our winner of the Shadow Cup 2021, the first major tournament after full release of Legion TD2. And the game is underway. So let's go. Twitch chat, get your foreheads ready in the chat. We have a hell of a show on for you today. We have #1, that's King Dans and Saiyajin against the dream team of Robbie and Boo Boy, and the game is on. Shadow, let's go.
Yeah, so first seed of the tournament, King Dance and Saiyajin, the favorites here, of course. But Roby and Bootboy with the underdog story being the 5th seed of the tournament here was surprising. So talk about the Legion spells while I note down what are people picking.
Absolutely. So the Legion spells on offer in the first match are Pulverizer, All-Out Assault, and Giant Snail. So we have two very, very strong offensive spells in the All-Out Assault and the Giant Snails. Really, really strong. Going for a kill on wave 11, going for a kill on wave 12. And then the Pulverizer, it is a really good single target buff. And I've got to say, Saiyajin has the perfect target for it there because he has Doppelganger with Lifesteal. You put Pulverizer on top of that and it becomes an absolute monster of a unit. Boo Boy has a pretty solid choice as well with his Halo and or Berserker, both very good targets for Pulverizer. King Dan currently doesn't really have a Pulverizer target on offer, so I would expect him and Robbie to go for one of the offensive spells, unless they pick something up in the reroll.
Yeah, the reroll will be quite important for King Dance, and so the picks are redraw for King Dance. You have Forsaken for Saiyajin. We have Roby with Atlantean and redraw on Boo Boy. So quite interesting here. We see both legions being played here at the first game of the final.
Yeah. And we have king ups all around. It looks like there are no snails on the table today, which is kind of a shame because Downs is going for a Windhawk opener, so a snail would have really punished this.
Yes, so
But everyone just takes their income with the king ups, and that's fine. Now, Robbie, he's going for his kind of patented Atlantean opener, which is the Grawl into Egg Sack on wave 2, and the Angler added on wave 1, which means it's just going to keep ramping up that mana to go for the big late game Kingpin when he gets that power spike around wave 8 or 9.
yeah, exactly. It's just about getting that egg out early with the Atlantean. You do have the Polywog on wave 3 to allow you to do that. But Saiyajin reacting here. He probably rises that Roby went for the Atlantean build and he's going for 6 worker.
Wow, that is amazing from Saiyajin. I really like that aggression there. I really like that aggression.
But that's a straight up
very, very good
prediction.
call.
That is a straight up prediction. They know that Roby has taken Atlantean in his picks, and so there's a high chance where it's an egg here.
Yeah. And he's absolutely paying off for him here because Robbie did send that king up on wave 1, which means there is absolutely no way that he can punish Saiyajin here with his 6 workers early. That's very, very good shot calling there from Saiyajin.
Yeah, and now with the long wave, do you think Roby pushes the worker and let the egg die, or do you think it's still possible with the Polywog to hold it?
I mean, he's got options. He can either do a Seraphim or he can do a Serpent. Both are very, very good on wave 3 for protecting the egg. So I think he can probably go for a hold if he wants to. Dan's will be able to afford a 60 send though, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
And also paired with a Berserker also on Boo Boy. So Berserker 5 worker, he will be able to get a 40 out to allow himself to have the Oathbreaker in the split.
He is going for a hold. Robbie's playing to hold. He's not pushing workers.
Alright, so he's going for the hold, and you have here the Bone Crusher barely living against the Wills, and that is the absolute greediest opener that you can see in this game with the Crusher and Bone Warrior.
And Dan's is going for the income send. He's going for the Dragon Turtle Snail. He didn't want to skip income for a Brute here.
Yeah, and so
Robbie goes for a Serpent. I don't know about the Serpent. I think the
he's thinking
Seraphim
about
might
it.
be better.
Okay, he's going for... Yeah, Seraphim could be better. The only problem is that if you put it in the split, you're at risk of targeting the Dragon Turtle early. And the Serpent just kills...
With good positioning, it's fine, yeah. But this Serpent, I think, should tank some of the wave as well. It does, look at that!
Wait, that's made too much?
That's really good aggro pull. Serpent should survive this.
Isn't it too much here? There's a lot on it.
No, I think it's just enough. I think it barely survives, which is absolutely perfect for Robbie. Look at that. That is perfect positioning. It couldn't have been any better. It literally couldn't have been any better. That was exactly the right amount of creep on the Serpent that it can tank maximum damage away from the egg and survive. And meanwhile, Saiyajin, he actually leaks to the snail.
Yeah, 150 HP left on the egg sack here was indeed the perfect aggro here.
Oh, there's a leak! There's a leak!
There's a leak, but you have the Serpent and the Angler.
Still alive. The Angler's still alive. The egg will survive. But
the egg will survive.
That was a little bit too close for comfort there for Robbie.
Yeah, but that's the Oathbreaker weakness now with the reduced 8 HP on it. It is still a little bit more vulnerable to a Snail on the split, so even double Snail on wave 4 could leak him if he doesn't have anything. He does have things here with the Bone Warriors, so he should be fine.
And the long wave there actually favouring King Dan's and Saiyajin because they have quite a lot more workers there with 6 on Dan's and 7 on Sire, and Robbie has only just been able to push his 4th worker there at the end of wave 3.
Yeah, but now it's all about how do you deal with the Hydra? How soon does Robbie get his bounty hunter to scale up into a kingpin? And those are the questions, because with Atlantean you get a lot of hidden value in the units. Like the Hydra, way more than the base value of the egg. Kingpin,
Kingpin.
Yeah, same with the Kingpin. So Kingpin will gain as much value as it has mana. So it's all about those two units bringing up the hidden
Not
value.
upgrading though, so Robbie continues to push workers, which he needs to do because he does need to catch up to the worker situation of the other players. But that means he's missing out on all of those stacks because the Angler already hit full mana halfway there through wave 4.
Yeah.
So now he's just missing out on all of that potential mana that the Kingpin could end up having later on in the game.
Yeah, indeed. It's like yes, wave 7 is the most crucial one, but you want to upgrade it a little bit sooner because you still want to hit that 100 or 120 stacks on wave 9 at least. So let's see how it goes. King Dan's still going for some income here, but that's not full send. So probably a save on wave 6 from King Dan's to go on wave 7. Or do you think it's going to be something else?
Oh, look at this. The Mudman of Boo Boy only tanking the boss and the snail. So the Berserk is actually taking way too much damage. It's going to die, and that's most of his DPS.
That's not ideal here, but the Oathbreaker is going up.
If the Oathbreaker survives, then he's fine, but
No,
does it just die?
Yeah, it just dies. So we have here the pure incarnation of the DPS Mudman here.
This is the DPS Mudman. And I know that Robbie has had DPS Mudman in the past in his tournament career, so let's see if it comes to bite his new partner here, which is Boo Boy.
So let's see here. We do have the Mudman still hitting, slapping the Scorpions, trying to bring them down to justice, but it doesn't seem to be very effective. But it's going to go down, but probably... Well, is it a hole? Wait. How much damage is that? Wait, they're taking 7 damage per hit. They're stealing...
It's gonna be close! It's gonna be close!
It's gonna be close, but it's gonna be a 1 Scorpion
it's
leak.
1-on-1, it's gonna be a leak!
It is a pro leak, maybe? Because Robbie is sitting on a lot of Mythium right now.
Robbie really is sitting on a lot of Mythium. When do you think he wants to send? Saiyajin, he will get the Harbinger here for 6, which makes him extremely strong.
Especially on 7 as well, so... Well, everybody's
so maybe
saving.
Robbie just has to go for a wave 8 send then.
Despite
Ooh.
the long wave, nobody's sending. That is quite a confident call from everybody here.
And Saiyajin actually decides to go for the Nightmare here instead of the Harbinger, which obviously he would have needed to send for.
But that has the potential to be a little bit weaker on wave 7, unless he gets still the Harbinger despite that.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what Robbie wants to send, right?
Yeah. So looking at this, probably a Mimic is the play from Robbie. Yes, it will be a Harbinger, but the HP is pretty low on this fortified unit.
Boo Boy goes for a Mole, which is okay against what King Dan's has.
I mean, it's to counter the potential Leviathan and Tempest spam.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
And you called it, Shadow. There's the Mimic. There comes the Mimic. So Saiyajin, he needs to send if he wants to get the Harbinger. He has to send for the Harbinger here.
Yeah, he has to send for the Harbinger, and he does so. Those are imps on 7. That's not something I like to see, honestly, because you're just adding magic damage onto a magic damage wave.
Yeah. But I can see it for King Dan's because what other type of damage do you need? The magic is just perfect against his Hydra, against the Bounty Hunter, and even against the Deep Coiler as well. So I think that's a very good send from Dan's. Saiyajin, I mean, it's good against what we see already.
Yeah.
It's good against Mudman, Berserker, and Oathbreaker. But now there comes the Sand Badger.
There comes the Sand Badger.
Were just better than from Saiyajin.
But now the crucial ults are on King Dan and Saiyajin. Gonna look at the Mimic from Robbie onto Saiyajin. How much does it get? It does go through the Butcher quite fast. It does go through the Bone Crusher quite fast as well. And now attacking the
but the Mimic's getting focused. The Mimic is getting focused now. It's going to die.
The Mimic's focus is attacking the
Harbinger. It's just going to be a hold.
It's going to be a hold.
Saiyajin has like perfect damage split here.
Yep. And on the side of King Dan's, it will be a small leak. only because he
leak
has a
on
mole.
Robbie, and
Small
it's
leak on
going to be a
Robbie.
leak on Boo Boy as well. So we're going to have first blood here.
But 60%
Decided
on King
drinking.
Dance though.
Yeah,
And
60% on King Dance, but Jin will just hold that in the middle. And I've got to say, excellent damage split there
that's a
from
hold.
Jin, just
That
perfectly tanking between his Nightmare and his Harbinger.
Boo Boy is holding here.
Oh, very good, Boo Boy.
And that's a 35% leak while having Hydra on Roby. So it's not the end of the world here. And he can't back
Oh,
up
is
on
he holding?
workers. Yeah,
Oh,
he is. He
that
is.
was so close.
They're not even close. Come on.
Not even close. Okay. With like 7 HP on the Fire Archer when he killed the last sludge.
Now he's gonna hold everything in the middle, of course, right?
No chance of that. So there is first blood, but it's not going to be a much damage. It's only going to take the king down to around 95%.
And you said that Saiyajin would hold everything in the middle, but no, this is still king damage here.
Okay. So maybe evening up the damage then. Both teams ending up at around, 94% on one side, 96 on the other. Let's call it a draw, but a very long wave.
Yeah, it was a very long wave. We see the resends for income. Only King Dance going for a Hermit to prevent the 2 shots from the quarter.
Yeah.
So that's
The
quite
coil
an...
will kill it pretty quickly though. So let's see what happens.
No, the Hermit will be protected by the wave. It has the same wave as a wave, so that means the quarter will take a long time to reach that Hermit.
Yeah.
So that might be a leak, so we're gonna focus on the lane of Roby here. Yes, there are incomes as everywhere else. Only Saiyajin did push here, might be susceptible to the leak here, so might want to check on that later. But look at this, the Hermit just protected by the wave, and it takes 3 hits for the Serpent to kill the wave here. But can it reach?
Should attack the Hermit now after half of the wave is dead.
It does attack it. The Bounty Hunter does buy a lot of time for the quarter, and it will be a clear in the end from Roby. And
Yeah.
Saiyajin does have only the Nightmare left, and there's 4 Cobras also attacking it, and so it will result into a leak.
Saiyajin, a very small one though, very small one.
Very small one, but we do have Roby.
Is Dan's leaking as well?
Dance is indeed leaking as well, or very close to, with the Cannoneer.
One more shot from the cannon. Oh, it doesn't fire! It doesn't fire! One more shot from the
7.
cannon would have caused a leak there.
Yeah, 7 HP on the Tempest, so it does additional king damage here. So bring them down lower than the one of Roby and Boo Boy. But we have to emphasize, Roby did get through the 2 weakest wave of Hydra, 7 and 8.
Yeah. And here come the imps on 9 from Dan's and Saiyajin. It's time for their counterattack. Robbie cannot afford a kingpin here. I wonder what he does. He has 140 gold. He just goes for a serpent, okay, and a bazooka. I think he might be vulnerable against these imps, you know.
Yeah, the imps are quite surprising to see, because you did see a lot of sends coming up, but it's all about the long waves. Those 3 last waves were pretty slow. And
now I think Boo Boy should hold with his double Mudman and with his Oathbreaker in the split. I think he should be fine.
yeah, the Oathbreaker should tank only 1 or 2 of the Carapace. Okay, a little bit more. 3 and the Imp. That's more than he wanted.
Yeah, the Oathbreaker's going to die really quickly, so it won't get any damage done. But look at this. His Berserker's tanking way too much there. The Berserker is down.
It almost survived though. And that would have been crucial, because now he doesn't have any DPS except the Nightmare.
Yeah.
But looking on the other side, you do have this Bounty Hunter dying, and it will indeed be a hold from Roby, despite losing the Bounty Hunter here. And a hold here also from Boo Boy.
Okay. So there's some minor economic damage there, because the Bounty Hunter loses the stack potential he could have got from clearing the wave.
Yeah.
But I've got to say, really, that's a very favourable trade for Robbie and Boo Boy.
Big sense.
Here comes their counter-attack on wave 10. There's an Ogre going against King Dan, which I think is a fantastic send. There's a Pack Leader and some Snails going against Saiyajin, which I think the Pack Leader's good. The problem is with the Snails in front, what might happen is after the Snails die, the wave then has the chance, it's not guaranteed, but has the chance to attack the Pack Leader instead of the bot. And if that happens, the Pack Leader will die very, very quickly.
Yeah, and I don't like to send wave 10 against Doppel, of course, but it can catch Saiyajin off guard here. But
I don't think it will, though. I think he should be just fine.
Against King Dance here, it's just perfect, because
the send is very good against King Dance. Very good.
So the
I mean,
Leviathan,
what the ogre does as well. The ogre, like, partially tanking all of these pierce spells from the Tempest and the Leviathan. It just gives the boss that much more potential HP. It really is a perfect send against Tempest Leviathan builds. And
Yeah.
look at this, a massive leak from King Dance.
Doppel is down. Doppel is down here.
Doppel is down, so that's a leak from Saiyajin as well then. Oh no! His Doppel taking aggro there before the Harbinger. That's really unfortunate for him.
Yeah,
25% leak there on Saiyajin, on top of the 71% from Dams. This is going to be big king damage. There's a near full HP Ogre in the mix as well.
Yeah, but let's remember there are 2 aggressive spells in the game right now, so they can go for a counter-attack on either with 11 or
Yeah.
12, depending on what they decide. It will be a Kingpin on Roby though, so they need to be aware of that.
And Robbie might just put Pulverizer on his Kingpin as well. Okay, here comes the send. It's a Witch from King Dance. Shadow, I know you're happy to see that.
Yeah, Witch very, very good against Hydra. The only problem with Witch is that it needs to be protected to be decent. And
I know what else you're happy with. Saiyajin skipping income here so that he can afford to send a Siege Ram with the All-Out Assault Mythium.
yeah,
What do
they,
you think
they know
about that?
they know they need to get something done because they took so much king damage. They have the opportunity to even it up with the aggressive king spell, and so they
Yeah.
are trying for the break. So what you want to pair up with the Witch is probably some Fiends, some Dragon Turtle. You need to spam. You must
I
not
think
go
he
for
might
big
go
units.
two Witches.
I don't think it's a play. You need the spam.
Okay, no, it's Drake plus Snails.
Yeah, the spam is important here because it slows down the Kingpin. The
Yeah.
more units you have in front, it slows down the Kingpin so much with the slow attack
Oh.
speed of the Kingpin.
Boo Boy did not harden his Mudmen here.
They did not.
That might bite him.
They did not expect the send here. And so
We see there the Doppel is down. The Doppel's down. Oh no!
Doppel is down. The Kingpin is already down also with the Witch still being alive. And
He needed that to survive. I wonder how the Doppelganger managed to die before the Mudman. The Mudman's still alive there. This is going to be a big leak on Boo Boy.
big leg on Boo Boy, but we do have Roby doing pretty decent here with the Polarizer on the Zeus. Will it be a hold though? Yes, it will be a hold, but a very close one.
Yeah, it looks like he should hold. As soon as he gets a stun onto the last Quill Shooter, he should be okay.
Here's the
Yeah,
sun.
look at that.
The Quill
Zeus
Shooter is just...
completely locking down
Yeah.
the Quill Shooter there.
And so we do have still king damage, but it is nowhere near what they needed to happen here. And so you will see king damage here, some gold being equaled up, some workers being equaled up. But now it's all about the next call. And Roby and Boo Boy not wasting any time, going for wave 12.
By the way, I've been told that my webcam is covering the sends on the side there, so
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to put me in the bottom right-hand corner, maybe?
I mean, there is no right place to place you with the current UI scaling. It is
Yeah.
the best we can do with what we have to give the more information as possible. We are describing the sense as much as we can, and we try to over on it. We do have King Dance and Saiyajin going for the income sense and the lizards and the cannoneer, and Roby as well going for the income sense and Boo Boy as well. So they want to go for a 15 cent probably for the next one.
Yeah. So everyone just taking their income here, continuing to scale. We don't expect to see any damage done by this. But yeah, right side, Robbie and Boo Boy, with that leak from Boo Boy, they're now down to 51%. So king damage is looking fairly even now, fairly close. But Robbie and Boo Boy, they're going to need to push against Dans and Saya at some point if they want to convert this into a win.
I mean, they are equal in workers. Yes, you want to push, but if you want to go for a 15 cent, that is the best situation for you because Roby is having those Zeus to protect himself on wave 15. They don't know about the Lord of Death yet by Saiyajin, but looking at what he has, they need to expect it is indeed Forsaken that he is playing.
Yeah.
So let's see here more in details what there was one big difference also in the previous sen. Kingdom and Saiyajin adding the king ups on top of the income sen, while Roby and Boo Boy only went for the income sen and decided to save the rest. We do have Saiyajin pushing heavily here, trying to make a... Oh, I know what they're trying to do. Saiyajin is trying to go for an undercut on wave 14, and they will try to go for the win on wave 14 for King Dance and Saiyajin.
That's going to be easier said than done, though, because Robbie, he can even add an Ocean Templar there to make his Hydra very tanky on wave 14. Boo Boy has Sand Badgers with obviously upgrade potential there for Iron Scales, which is the best tank you can ask for on wave 14 and 15. So let's see what happens.
So yeah, we're gonna see what happens here, but the heavy push from Cyajin makes me doubt about the 15 cent. But they are going for it, so I accept that Cyajin is not going to hold wave 15 here. They rely on King Dance to hold wave 15, and he does have the units to do so.
And look at this positioning from Robbie. So he's placed what will be a backline bunk on most waves, but on wave 15, it's going to work slightly differently, and that bunk will be able to split tank with the Hydra on wave 15 only. But then for the rest of the game, it will be a backline bunk. So
Yeah.
they're really just kind of all in on protecting themselves here on wave 15, which I think is a pretty good call.
It's a pretty good call, but now you see Boo Boy with the Star Curler and Steed,
Oh yeah.
and that means he will be able to hold, but I don't think Saya and King Dance have the option to skip that wave.
And here come the Sens. So Boo Boy's got Shaman. Dragon Turtle Robbie is matching the Shaman. He has quite a bit more Mythium to add on top. They do see the Hades here from Sayajin, but they have no choice. They need to send here. And here's the Kraken from Dan's meanwhile.
Kraken is pretty decent here as a tank here, because it nullifies the Pulverizer. It damages a tank and stuns a tank, while the wave, including the boss, will kill most of the front line here. And so I really love the Kraken here.
And here we have Boo Boy doing what he can to hold. He upgrades the Starcaller, he upgrades to a Pegasus, he has the full circle of steeds around the Starcaller, he's double hardening his Modmen, and he's just praying that he can pull out a hold here on wave 15, because they need to be able to cover each other now. Yeah, the values are pretty nuts. Sayajin heavily undervalue. Even after building, he's still 400 behind. The same on King Dan's, who's 200 behind, and I think we might just have a race here on wave 15.
We might just have a race here, but I do see Boo Boy holding here. He is the closest to value. King Dance is the second closest. He does have a lot of Pegasus to buff his Violets. It's all about the Violets living here and giving a lot of pain to the wave with the magic damage. There's one Pegasus down, one Violet going down right now.
One Violet remaining, but now the Shaman dies very, very quickly.
And this
That's
is a hold.
hold from King Dance, and it's not even close.
And looking at Sayajin, we talked too fast. This is going close to a hold.
Well. But so do Robbie and Boo Boy, or Boo Boy does at least. Robbie does not.
Yeah, so the power of Pulverizer and the power of Forsaken here with the Hades.
Oh,
no, that's going to be a leak.
Oh no! Look at that! His boss is on 6% HP.
Yeah.
And that ends up being an 84% leak from Sayajin. Obviously, the percentage makes it look more dangerous than it is, because King Dance will clear this up very easily in the mid.
Yeah, and same for Boo Boy in the middle here. The Starharder was crucial here with the Pegasus, and now he has a great backline DPS. He just needs a front line. What does he have as front line?
He's not going to quite cover though, right? Because he attacked the small octopus first. So we do get a couple of shots off from the Quadrupus.
2 shots, and brings down to 47% against 45. Remember that Sayajin and King Dance have that regen kicking in also, and will bring their HP up.
I wonder when the next Zen wants to come in then from both teams.
I mean, there's two options, right? There are two options. Either you go for a full push, which is what exactly Robbie and Boo Boy are doing, or you're not pushing and go for a long save, which is what King and Sayajin are doing. They recognize that they want to try to send on 17 against what King Dan and Sayajin has. King Dan and Sayajin say, okay, go ahead, we're going to hold it, and we're going to go on 18 against you. Or 17 even.
Look at this though. King Dan's and Sayajin, they are pretending to have full push their workers as well. They're holding on to so much gold. 550 there on Dan's,
and there's
385 on Sayajin. So they're kind of baiting the send, but it's not really bait because Robbie and Boo Boy wanted to send here anyway. The thing is, they can now add like near enough 1,000 value on wave 17, and they have good units to be able to build there. Sayajin has the Wanderers and the Antlers. King Dance has the Mudmen and the Windhawks. So I think they might even be able to pull out a hold, but they need to, because a leak here will spell disaster. It will spell the end of the game.
Yeah, they need to hold. They didn't push a single workers to just make that happen. Robbie and Boo Boy went for the heavy push to try and break them here. Let's see.
King Dan's
Hardened
is just
golems.
having
Yeah.
2 hardened golems. He has even more to spend. He's still got 540
He
gold
just
remaining,
needs.
by the way.
That's the only thing he needs to have. It's only hardened golems that he needs.
Yeah. Well, he's 6 gold off getting another one though.
It's going to more damage, more split, more time here. That's totally fine here for him.
I think he
Saijin?
might just be able to hold. Like he's nearly 5,000 value,
Yeah.
and he has 3 hardened golems.
We have the Samurai Souls coming in from Saijin here. It will be 3
And
Samurai
with the
Souls
White Mane
and White
Aura
Mane.
as well.
Will it be enough time for the LOD? That is the question. And also the Hades. Yes, they are magic damage, but they are still the highest DPS he has in his build.
Yeah.
But the Centaur, Centaur
is very high DPS.
is
And
very
he's
massive.
killing the backline.
Oh no.
The
I mean-
Centaur's shredding through the Lord of Death there, and now it's going to go onto the Thanatos.
I mean, that's the best case scenario
but
for
look at
Saijin
Kingdom.
because only the Centaur is attacking the backline. And
They're both going to hold.
they're both going to hold. And they're pushing now.
no.
They are pushing back. And so this means that they want to force something like 19 because they want to have time for the Mythium to rise up. No, they're not waiting.
They go 18.
And King Dan's is not holding. King Dan's is leaking.
That's 66% on downs. But honestly, I think Robbie and Boo Boy, they have a chance to hold here on 18. I'm not sure about this.
Yeah,
Sure, their front line is bad. Like the Havens are bad on 18. But they both have Pulverizer. They both have... Zeus is very strong on 18. Fatalizer obviously is very strong on 18 that Boo Boy has. So I
Starcarder
don't know.
Circle. The Starcarder Circle with Pegasus is just a lot going on here. And
Yeah. I think Boo Boy adds 2 Fatalizers now.
I do think so. Or he goes
Both,
for
yeah.
some Pegasus and yeah. They did go also for a recent here. So they predict King Dan and Saijin full pushing here. And so
Which is correct.
So they are trying to break them as well. But look at the sands. They're not that massive from Cyan Kingdoms.
No, and meanwhile, King Dan's all of his front line is de-hardened golems now on this wave.
Yeah, that's
I
not
think
perfect here for him.
This is going to
But
be an interesting wave now.
that's the same for Buboy, the hardened.
Yeah, true.
So we're gonna look at Buboy because he has the Starcaller Circle. It's a lot of DPS on that wave.
Yeah,
It's
just
all about
look
him.
at that Starcaller. Absolutely nuts, dude. Just constantly spamming those extremely high damage spells against wave 18. And meanwhile, the Doppelganger's just stunning everything that it attacks.
The double is down. The double is down
Double
though.
is down.
But there's still the Starcaller going up, and there's still the Steeds,
Oh.
but the Steeds are going down, so this will be a leak from Buboy. And Saijin is holding, King Dan's is leaking,
Robbie leads
is leaking.
67%. Boo Boy, this is just going to end the game.
Yeah. So despite having the Disciple
Wow.
Starcaller combo with Pulverizer as well on the Doppel, he just didn't have enough frontline to protect the Doppel because one of the Fatalizer is behind.
I think they might have been able to survive if they did an Income King upgrade send here instead of the full send, but it's just so hard to make those calls like in the moment, right?
Yeah, and so we do have game 1 going to #1, but very hard fought battle.
That was an incredibly close game. I honestly thought that Robbie and Boo Boy were going to take this one. They were very strong throughout the mid game. It kind of turned around in the... Let's see. That play on 16 there from King Dan's and Saijin to hold all of their gold and put it all into fortified tanks for wave 17, I just think was a very, very good call. But not only that, they also kind of baited Boo Boy, because when you hold your gold like that, it increases the recommended value of your opponent.
Yep.
So Boo Boy probably saw that he was very undervalued on 17. Indeed, we can hover and see he was 365 below. And that kind of baited him into hardening his golems there against no send. And you never know, if those golems were hardened on 18 instead of anti-hardened, which obviously makes them much weaker, he might have even been able to hold that wave 18 send because it was pretty close. Like, he only leaked 1 creep plus the Shaman 4 Eyes, right? So I think if his Mudman was hardened there, maybe keep the Doppelganger alive for a bit longer, stunning out the wave, he might just be able to hold on wave 18, and then maybe the game turns out differently.
Yeah, and that's the problem, and that's always
Just really insane shot calling there from King Dan's and Saijin. just like King Dan's, I think he had something like 550 gold that he just shifted on wave 16 and put it all into hardened columns on 17. Just very, very good reading of the game, and able to convert that into a win here on wave 18. So really well played there from King Dan and Saiyajin.
Yeah, very, very well played here, and we must say that is a win with a Legion as well, and that just proves to you that in the current state, like going for a Legion is still a viable thing in this format.
Yeah, absolutely, dude, absolutely.
Because yes, people know that how to send against the Forsaken, but it's all about, oh wait, do you have this here or do you wait a little bit longer? Like the Harbinger on wave 7 was crucial. Like adding the Nightmare on wave 6, not for the Harbinger, it just makes you guess. Wait, does he go for the Harbinger on 7? Does he wait? Does he shift? And there's a lot of questions going on when you do those kind of stuff. And so even within a Legion, there's still some questions to be asked when sending into it.
Yeah. Do we think for the second game, is there any way that my webcam can go over on the right where yours is? Because there is a little bit of blank space just where the codecs and the settings button is. So maybe then I'm not blocking the sends.
I mean, it's okay.
It's hard to say, right?
I mean, the big problem is that. Okay, I cannot move you. Wow. Okay, that's
It's because the UI is scaled up. That's why.
yeah. That, and my screen is different than yours, but I took the same percentage. And no, I just can't move you without. What can I do? Okay, I can move you now. I mean, okay, I don't like the setup. It's not clean, but I mean, if people want that, let's do that, I guess.
I did have a couple of messages asking to unblock the send box on the left hand side there. So if it's possible, then great. If not, then it's fine.
Yeah, okay, so we're gonna go into game 2 here. It's 1-0 for #1 in the grand final here. And now there's two options not available to King Dan and Saiyajin. King Dan's not able to pick redraw anymore, and Saiyajin not being able to pick Forsaken anymore.
Yeah, and that was honestly the one thing that I was kind of worried about, is getting a win with Forsaken, because I do think the Legion is fairly weak at the moment, but Saiyajin, they're obviously able to prove me wrong, getting the early victory with Forsaken, getting that out of the way. And this is a conquest format that we're in now, right? So
Yep.
all of the players have to win with all three of their picks in order to claim victory. So now Saiyajin unable to pick Forsaken, King Dan's unable to pick Redraw. They still have to win with their two remaining choices. And hopefully Boo Boy and Robbie can pick up some victories of their own meanwhile.
Yeah, but you see what I think? What I think is that King Dan and Saiyajin have picked the Forsaken Legion as an answer to the Atlantean. Because what is one weakness of the Atlantean start, right? It is to go for that egg early, right? And so you don't have workers, but with Forsaken, you can go for that 6-worker Bone Crusher start.
Yeah. And he just read that very, very well as well. He realized it was Atlantean, and that was kind of perfect, honestly. I don't know if they planned that ahead of time to have the Forsaken player receive from the Atlantean player, but if that was their plan, then I mean that's just real forward thinking there. It might have just been a lucky matchup that Saiyajin happened to be on Forsaken receiving from their Atlantean player. But we just saw that was an incredible early game boost there for Saiyajin, able to push 6 workers during wave 1 without any fear of leaking against a snail on wave 2. And it just gave him a very, very strong early game power spike. So really good call there from Sire, the way he read that early game, pushing those workers, and yeah, it really put him off to a good start in game 1. But meanwhile, here we are, game 2 underway.
Yeah, game 2 underway. We have the Legion spells to talk about. We have Titan, Giant Snail, and Guardian Angel. So Titan, defensive one, same as Guardian Angel. I do favor Guardian Angel because it comes up alive with more HP than Titan gives, as well as resetting the aggro. So I think there will be a net preference towards Guardian Angel if you have to choose between the two. And Giant Snail, the only offensive options here. And that's gonna be difficult, especially when you set King Dan's role.
Yeah, and we have King Dan's with a lock-in boar, but I think his early game is somewhat lacking, right?
Yeah, he's going to go for Angler start here with Polywalks. That's probably his only options. He's gonna be vulnerable on wave 7, but he wants to have that Holy Avenger as early as possible. But he did reroll out of it. He's going to go for the Fire Archer start here instead.
Okay. I like it.
So only income sends King Ups on everybody here from the start. And Berserker on Ruby, while Booboy is going for a Washroom and Angler.
Angler, yeah. So I think both Robbie and Boo-Boy are on redraw, and Dan's obviously taking the lock-in Great Boar here, while Saiyajin, I believe, is on redraw himself.
Correction, we have lock-in on King Dance and redraw on Saiyajin, yes, but Ruby took redraw while Booboy is Atlantean.
That's Atlantean? So he rolled away his egg and his Growl?
Yep.
Really?
Yep, that's what he did.
Okay, I guess.
I mean, he's switching it up. He's switching up the normal start from Atlantean with a reroll early, and his late game, pretty much only the Azaria, right?
Yeah, I don't know about that one, dude. I think like the strength of Atlantean is the guaranteed egg that you get in the early game, right? It gives you the really big power spike as soon as the Hydra hatches.
Yep.
I don't know about that. Like you've kind of taken Atlantean and then got rid of its signature unit in the Hydra.
I mean, yes, but as we saw previous game, they were probably afraid of seeing the same thing, like a Forsaken with the high push. And now they do see the double Fire Archer from King Dance. They might suspect the Forsaken, but that's not Forsaken from King Dance.
No. That is a lock-in ball from the Mr. Dans. And we do have income sends coming out from, I'm going to say, all players, although Saiyajin might decide to hold.
Yeah, Saiyajin is feeling pretty safe
Saiyajin
here.
gets his income as well. Okay.
So it's aiming to be a pretty income-heavy game right from the start here. But that's only depending on how much the King Dance decide to push out of that send. Because as we see the strong setup for the early game here for wave 5 and things like that. It's just a Crusher. I don't understand that Crusher, to be honest.
I mean, it's going to give him a free hold here, right? So.
Yeah, but on wave 5, it makes one of your Fire Archer to tank too much of the boss, right?
Yeah. Oh, this Fire Archer dying way too quickly.
Yeah, so
Did I speak too soon when I said easy hold?
I mean,
Does the
it looks
Crusher
like
go down?
it.
I think it does.
Yeah, I think the Crusher in the split is just way more value for this kind of build, and that's just an
It's gonna be a pretty
uncharacteristic
decent lead
mistake,
there.
I think, from King Dance here.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Saiyajin, it looks like, is holding. There's a 44% leak on King Dan's, and both Robbie and Boo-Boy are able to hold their income sends here on wave 3.
Yeah, and that makes Robbie pushing to 7 workers, so that will be quite interesting to see how this develops. He does have the Berserker with Oathbreaker. It is vulnerable on wave 4. Let's remember that. Double Snail can screw that up if he doesn't have anything. So let's see if King Dance decides to go for a Sen or not.
Yeah.
He's going for it. I know it's Booboy going for King Dance, Ascend on King Dance. But that's
Robbie
such a
might as
long
well.
wave.
I think Robbie might just save for a Fiend and go for a Fiend here. He does, yeah.
Yeah, the wave
like
is super long now. The wave is super long. The sends are coming from King Dance
but
as well.
Dan's is going for a break. Dan's is sending Brute.
Yeah, but to break,
And
that's not the
Robbie's-
Brute. The Brute is not correct to break. You need to kill that Oathbreaker, and the only way is to have something like a DT Snell or double DT.
I mean, I don't know. I think Robbie's value is very low, and his Berserker is a good unit. But the Brute will reduce the Berserker's DPS by quite some amount, you know?
Yeah, but the problem is not the Berserker on that wave, it is the Oathbreaker. The Oathbreaker survived just barely the split here with that positioning. And that is what causes the wave to be easy to hold. It's because the Berserker buys time and the DPS comes from the Oathbreaker. But the Snell Edition does reduce the amount of the Oathbreaker here.
Yeah. So the two little fists die very, very quickly. And the Berserker is clearing a lot of the chickens, but does this Oathbreaker die? I think if it clears, he might just be in a pretty good spot. It does clear.
But the Brute is
but now
enough
the
to kill.
Berserker's down.
The Berserker is down, and so it will be a leak from Ruby, but Cyanogen leaking
but
as well to
meanwhile,
the Fiend.
Cyanogen 67% versus the income send there.
Yep. And so the Fiend and the Snell just enough to buy enough time to distract the Wild Shroom and things like that.
Yeah. And look at this. Like, this is some pretty good chip damage against Cyanogen, who's been able to be leaped fairly decently there with just income sends from Robbie, who meanwhile, after receiving the Brute from Dan's, pushes all the way up to 8 workers. So we have Dan's and Robbie equal at 8 workers apiece, and Boo Boy taking a little lead over Cyanogen because he's on 7 while Saya's on 6.
Yeah, so little advantage for Ruby and Boo Boy due to the leak of Saya. Saya leaking here was not perfect because he was not able to push as much as the others. And he's 1 gold off the Butcher, so what's his option here?
I mean, that's a bit of a yikes, right? I don't know if he just needed to send a snail to make sure he could get the Butcher here, but he can still add a Pilgrim. I think Pilgrim is a good choice. Yeah, I think if his Pilgrim tanks the boss, then he's pretty good.
That's a reroll. He rerolled out of the Wild Shroom to get the Pilgrim here, but the Pilgrim is not tanking the boss.
No. The Pilgrim is like 1 square too far behind.
Yeah, 1 square too far behind.
Okay though, because the Pilgrim, the rest of his units are tanking damage perfectly, and the Pilgrim is healing 3 targets at once, which is maximum value.
Yeah.
So I think he's just fine then.
That's exactly what you want with a Pilgrim, a maximum amount of value of the healing here.
Yeah.
Healing as much target as possible.
Yeah. So really showcasing the power of split tanking there is Cyanogen. We have 3 of his units all taking equal amounts of damage, and the Pilgrim able to heal them up equally for a very easy hold there on wave 5.
Income sums from everybody here. We do see the corner from Boo Boy coming in last wave. Yeah. But that's a dino. I mean, that's a dino going onto that, and so that's just income and allows Boo Boy to push additional workers by quite a large margin.
Yeah.
But Boo Boy sending a dino onto King Dance? How do you see that happening?
I mean, it's just feed, right? Like, Dance should have an easy hold.
Does he though? Because it's all about the Fire Archer staying alive, right?
Well, the dino's dead now, and this Fire Archer, okay, is dead.
And the Fire Archer in the split is dead as well.
Fire Archer's dead?
The aggro is good on the Crusher though. If this one dies, okay, so this Crusher will survive the one-on-one. Or no, it doesn't.
But I think he just has enough left alive now. And now the Fire Archer tanks the remaining Rocco. It's an easy hold there from Dance. Really good aggro split as well.
Yeah, so the only one not sending was King Dance, and now he held also a send, so he gets a minimum advantage compared to the others. And the pressure is on Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie might have to play a little bit safer now. He should be able to afford his canopy with a resend, which he does. But Dance continues to save. I wonder if he just goes for a massive send on wave 8 then.
Wave 8 is possibly the play here, but Cyanogen will need to go for a mole, I do believe, or a hermit. Because wave 8 is all about the coiler. That's the problem here. So you need the mole to either distract it, distract the front line, but it might be... No, he doesn't shift for the Kingpin, so he might not get it.
Yeah. And without a Kingpin on wave 8, Boo Boy might actually be kind of vulnerable versus a mole, like you say.
Yeah, so let's see how do King Dance and Cyanogen do against the resend here. We have the bunk.
It's an easy clear there for Cyanogen, who managed to get his banana bunk down, so there's no danger there whatsoever. And I think the same for Dan's, who got his Harbinger online as well.
And the second summon is there.
Clear for both. Yeah. And that's just feeding them. That's more fuel for the fire. Dan's and Saya now on 10 workers apiece. I don't think they'll stop there. I think Cyanogen will full push. I don't think he'll build anything on wave 8.
Yeah, I don't think it is necessary for Cyanogen to go for that. He does have the Butcher to go with his banana bunk, and so this is a combo that we see King Dance doing often, the lifesteal bunk.
Well, Saijin proved me wrong. He does add a split, which I think is fine, actually, but...
Yeah, just to even up the healing, like he wants the split to tank as well to maximize the healing of the pilgrim. So
yeah, so that the bunk doesn't take full aggro from the wave. I think that's a good call. It looks like he's shifting some gold as well. I wonder what he wants to build on wave 9 then. Maybe he just goes straight for the chieftain?
yeah, it's gonna be the chieftain. But the send's coming from Roby, but Saiyajin saving, not sending at the same time with King Dance here.
Yeah. Well,
So
here's the send for Robbie. It's a 220, but it's pure income.
it is pure
So Dan's
income.
just going for the greed play.
Yeah, the greed play just forcing Roby to stay low workers and play high value. But the Cannoneer, very strong against everything that Roby has.
Yeah, this might even be a pretty decent leak on Robbie. Let's see if this Cannoneer is able to take down the canopy.
Well, it is on the canopy right now, and as well as most of the wave here, as well as the lizards. So that is the canopy
the
down.
canopy's going to die. Dan's leaks 50% versus a dragon turtle, though. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the Fire Archer died early, even though he had some protection with the Bone Warrior.
But look at this, 74% on Robbie there, the pure income send from King Dance. And I've got to say, that's way more damage than I expected, because look at Robbie's value. He's over 1,000 value here on wave 8, and still leaking 74%. That's really not good for Mr. Robbie.
That is indeed not very good, but now King Dance needs to somehow recover in value, because he is 790, he is quite strong on wave 9, but what do you see that is strong on wave 10 on him?
Yeah, absolutely. Like nothing so far. The best he can hope for is Alpha Male and Lioness, maybe. Boo Boy gets his Kingpin here. He does. It's pretty highly stacked, 127 mana, so that's a bit of a unit. There are 3 brutes coming out from Saiyajin, though, so let's see. I think with Boo Boy's crazy high value, 1358, he might just be fine. But 3 brutes is no slouch. It's a pretty big send.
It is a very big send, but he does have the canopy to split tank with the Warg as well as the Kingpin when the split dies, so it does look promising for him. And we all know that brutes love to be sniped here on this wave, and so we're gonna see how long a brute's gonna live. And it looks like they live pretty long.
One is sniped now. So one died pretty quickly.
The one on the side of
2 brutes on the Kingpin. So the Kingpin's insane DPS being reduced quite heavily by the double brute. Okay, oh, they both die.
Yeah,
they both die. That's so good. So Boo Boy, easy hold now then.
Yeah, easy hold to the non-income send from Saiyajin. So he wanted to break, and just a hold from Boo Boy makes him push heavily. And they go for 10. They spotted the weakness.
And same on Robbie, by the way. 16 workers now, holding the resend there from King Dan's. All the way to 17 workers. 17 on Robbie, 15 on Boo Boy. And here comes the counter-attack. It's only income from Robbie, but Boo Boy is going for a full send there with the pack leader plus some snail spam. But this is exactly what I was saying. So King Dan's, he has the Lioness and the Alpha Male.
I don't like this positioning.
Very strong units. Very strong units on wave 10.
I don't like this positioning. I would have loved to see the Lioness behind the Alpha Male, so the Alpha Male tanks before.
I think this one should be the Alpha Male.
Yeah.
And this one should be the Warg.
Yep. So I think this could result into a leak, because it will cause the Lioness to tank before the Alpha Male, where the Lioness is more damage. But let's see. The Harbinger, if the Harbinger... Is it though? It's only the Peewees. It's only the Peewees.
The Alpha Male is attacking the Brute, and I think it will go... Oh no. The Alpha Male then attacks the boss. Okay, so the pack leader will survive.
And look at this. The boss is not taking any damage here.
Yeah.
And on the side...
Saiyajin, he will hold.
Yeah, Saiyajin with the pocket Berserker.
Yeah, 75% on King Dance.
But that's what we talked about. It's the recovery. He leaked on 8.
Yeah.
He didn't show anything very strong on 10. He was very strong on 9 though. And so the over push to try and compensate with income, not really working perfectly due to the reset on 8.
And there will be king damage here for Dream Team, so they're bringing #1 down below 100%. There's first blood on that side. Actually, quite decent damage there, bringing the left side king down to 68%.
And look at the power score. Look at who is on top here.
Boo Boy is on fire. Let's go, Boo Boy.
So 18 workers on Boo Boy. Do you think they try an aggressive send on wave 12, or do they match the #1 team on wave 13 here?
I think they probably have to go for a wave 13 match, especially when they see this ball from King Dan's.
Yeah.
And of course, Saijin has the bunk. So I think it has to be a 13 match. And again, you don't want to allow your enemies to push there on wave 12. So
And oh, Cyjan going for the Titan because he wants to go for a big haven, and so he knows that when it has more time, uh, and so it is better than with resetting the aggro because you want it to survive, and that's the only time where Titan is probably better than Guardian Angel when you're just looking for it to survive as long as possible.
Mhm.
But meanwhile, we have Guardian Angels on the other side. I don't like the Guardian Angel on the Endler, to be honest, unless it is buffed by the White Mane, but it's gonna be the White Mane itself.
yeah, I probably would have put it on the Berserker, maybe.
Yeah, resetting the aggro on it if it dies too early, yeah, that could be
Yeah.
a possibility.
Or even on the Azora, you know, because
Yeah.
it revives and it has the 25% dodge, so you can say that it's using the extra life better than something else would do, especially when it has the White Mane buff. But look at this, a 12 send from Dans and Cyajin.
The 12 Sen is quite surprising to see, but very good against the Yuzora tank here from Roby.
Yeah.
But Booboy does have the Guardian Angel on the Azaria. But the
Robbie
Azaria,
just has no DPS on this wave. Like, his only damage unit is this Chieftain. The rest of his units are tanks.
so it might be pretty grim for Roby here, but it's all on Booboy here. Booboy needs to be holding
Yeah.
here with what he has.
But they're expecting the 13 send, which is why Boo Boy went for the Azaria and not the. Well, I suppose his bounty hunter's quite
Oh,
low
wait.
stat, so he didn't
Siege
really
Ram.
want to go for that.
The Siege
The
Ram's
Siege
on.
Ram. Oh no, the Siege Ram is going to kill the Azaria very quickly here.
And the Seraphim does cause the Ram to stick around here and not reach
And
the
it's going
main
to kill
wave.
it twice. It's going to kill it twice. The Azaria is down.
Azaria is
no.
down to the.
Oh no.
So that's kind of terrible for him because he's not holding. Let's look on Roby's side how he's doing. There's only the White Mane in the
Now
canopy.
he's attacking the Ram. You say he's not holding. It's very close. Very close.
Whoa, it is closer
It's gonna
than
be a
expected
small lead.
here.
But he's on fire. 50 gold shutdown there.
But Roby,
And meanwhile, Robbie, he's giving shutdown as well. That's another 50 gold. That is 100 gold each for King Dans and Sire Jim. This leak here was very well worth it for them.
Okay, but let's
Very
not
well worth it.
let's not panic too much here because the next wave is still the weakest of King Dance here.
Yeah, but they're going to get so much gold from this. They've already got 100 gold each just from the shutdown. They're going to get that again from this leak here against the King.
Yeah, so they are ramping up in gold here. They will have more than 700 gold to spend if they decide to go for income here. They do decide to go for income. And it will indeed be more than 700 gold to spend into defenses here.
Yeah,
And the Millennium.
Oh, man.
He's a little bit
That's so
short.
painful, though.
He's getting it. That's a Doomsday.
So I just don't think Dan's can leak now. I mean, he has 2,715 value on wave 13. There's just no way.
Yeah,
There's
that
just no
Doomsday.
way to make him leak.
The undercut here on 12, surprising Ruby and Booboy, and just saying, yeah, you have Kingpin, but you have to guess if I'm going 12 or 13. That's pretty much what he asked, right?
Yeah, and Sire Jin as well, 2.6k value. He has a Fatalizer there with Lifesteal and APS buff.
The Fatalizer is big.
I just don't think they can leak. I think they just have too much.
Yeah, we might see a hold here from King Dance. He is overvalued right now. He has the perfect impact damage for this wave. Does he have enough frontline to give it time? It looks like the answer is yes.
It looks like a yes for sure. And even the Fire Archer there staying alive. This is an easy hold for King Dance. It's not even close.
But that might be a leak anyhow on Cyajin. Yes, he had
It
the
is, but
Fatalizer,
it's not a big
but
one. And King Dance just will cover that in the mid.
yep, he will indeed hold it in the middle. The 4i will not be enough to clear the Doomsday, and it's only one golem going down to the middle area from Cyajin here.
This is really big for King Dance and Sire Jin because that's a very small leak there from Sire Jin versus a 520 send on 13. King Dance will fully cover this in the mid. They will take no king damage. And that 12 send, that undercut was just such a good call from King Dance and Sire Jin. Really strong play there from those two.
Yeah, but now it's all about the push. What do they decide to do? Do they try to overpush, try and finish on 15, or did they try to go stay low on workers, hold the 15 cent, and go after 15? It looks like the decision is go after 15.
And I mean, Robbie and Boo Boy, they were both on fire for the last two waves, but they're not now. And that's just going to say that King Dance and Sire Jin, they are catching up quickly.
And look at this, you have the gold being saved on here from King and Cyajin.
When do you want to send if you're Robbie and Boo Boy? Do you just go for 16? I think you have to, right?
Yeah, you have to go for 16, but seeing King Dance and Saiyajin not build a single unit here,
They're trying to bait the 15, Sen.
yeah,
They're trying to bait the
Saiyajin
15.
did build something here. I did not see what exactly, but he did build something.
I think he added some berserkers, maybe.
And so, I mean, the correct play is 16. Do they go for that or not? So it's all about this decision. Ray and Buboy are heavily pushed. They are strong on 15 with the Azaria, with Guardian Angel. So
I think
they
they
need
have to hold their nerve. I think they have to. I think if they send here, it's just the end of the game.
the winning play is to not send here and go for 16. You have the delay from Roby
They
that
do.
is insane, and everybody's
They
holding
do.
on to their
They
mythium.
save their mythium. Okay, good call there from Robbie and Boo Boy. They didn't fall for the bait from King Dans and Sire, which they did in the last game, by the way, when they sent on 17 into that 1k value worth of hardened golems, right?
Yes.
So good call from them here. Dream Team holding their nerve, saving their mythium, and they will have a massive send coming out on wave 16 against Dans and Sire.
We
But
have
even then, Sire does have
Yeah.
double Fatalizer. He's got a Lioness with good stacks. He'll have a third Fatalizer probably already on wave 16.
That's a lot of
I don't
tank
know.
value, but the answer to that is Centaur. Centaur pack would shred through that. So let's see if Roby sends that. If he reads that play and go for the Centaur and not necessarily for the 4-eye, it should be pretty good.
Yeah.
He does go for the 4-eye though. 4-eye pack.
All right, and a Ghost Knight from Boo Boy I think is very good against King Dans.
He needs to push the Ghost Knight to the split here.
He does. He needs to send a snail or something like that to make it go right.
So let's see how it will turn out. Everybody holding here. Everybody sending. Witches are coming from King Dance with the Giant Snail. Very nice combo.
Good
but the
combo.
delay is on the side of Roby. The delay is on the side of Roby.
Yeah. Robbie's got very good tanks, but again, he just doesn't have any damage on this wave, and he's adding gates. No, Robbie, that's not the play.
I think it is the delay game. Now, it is the one who will delay the most that will win the game. But the value from King Dance will say otherwise, as well as Saiyajin. With the boars here, it's just there's no pierce damage whatsoever, and so it's all about the Ghost Knight just giving time for the wave to kill the front line and also the Doomsday.
And the sends are massive coming out from all players, really.
The sends are massive, but the send from King Dance is not made to deal with something like a Archer with 3 chieftain buffs.
Yeah, true.
And Bubay receiving a Kraken, but it is protected.
Killing his chieftains, and that is all of Robbie's DPS.
It is all of Roby's DPS, but as we said, it is about the delay game. We do have Bubay doing pretty well, killing the Kraken here, but he will be leaking. Looking at Saya, Saya the Haven is still alive, but he will leak. We do have King Dance
doing very well, by the way.
Doing very well indeed, but he will be leaking.
I think they just die here.
They do just die because you do have Roby leaking as well, leaking faster than King Dance, and it will reach the king, and we have a 2-game lead and game point for #1. Despite Booboy and Roby being ahead most of this game here.
I've got to say that Dream Team have made both games very close, and I kind of feel for them because, you know, a very minor change in decision making probably would have got them a win in at least one of these games. But you've got to hand it to Dans and Saiyajin there. They've played extremely well in both games so far this series. Let me just scroll through some of the waves and decide what the tipping point was here in game number 2.
Yeah, take your time. I'm going to adjust everything here for the players as well on the pick and ban screen.
So we saw a decent leak against King Dans on wave 3, just versus income, 44% there. Meanwhile, Robbie was unable to push up to 7 workers. He did leak small on wave 4, even against a brute snail, so 49%. He's completely fine with that while he has the worker advantage. And Saiyajin actually leaking 67% on the same wave versus only an income send. So I think Robbie had a pretty decent early game lead. When wave 8 came, King Dans had been starving him for a while, so King Dans actually did a 5-8 save against Robbie, kept him low in workers after that early game spike. Robbie leaking 74% there against pure income is really not ideal for him at all. Dan's did leak 50% as well, but he was very high workers at the same time. So you've got to say that advantage went to side of #1.
Yeah, but
But
that
then they made
caused
them pay
yeah,
on wave 10. So the
exactly.
75% leak there from Boo Boy against Dan's was really, really solid there, kind of making him pay for his early game greed, and that was a really good send there from Boo Boy. But
But the
that
turning
wave
point,
12,
the
the
turning
turning point,
point,
yeah, 100% the turning point is this wave 12 send here. So undercutting the side of Robbie and Boo Boy. Boo Boy held pretty well, but Robbie got absolutely destroyed here because his build was just all tank value and no DPS.
exactly. Yes, and that's the power also of Giant Snails. Giant Snails are very good against full tank builds because you don't have damage to kill them. That's pretty much the only explanation.
Yeah. And we see that 73% leak there from Robbie when he had high value and he received a smaller send than Boo Boy. And yeah, it just hurts so much because then it gave. You remember they were both on shutdown there, so that was 100 gold each for King Dans and Saiyajin. On top of all of that pillage damage, with the King going down from 90% to 30%, and of course the leak gold. Like they were given so much gold to be able to hold that wave 13 send. You see King Dan's there, 2.7k value, Saijin 2.6k value. And King Dan's was able to just drop a full Doomsday cannon on wave
Yeah.
13 there, which gave him an easy hold against the send of Boo Boy.
And
So
that's
that
only
wave 12
because
send,
only because of wave 12.
devastating. Absolutely devastating, the wave 12 send.
All right, so let's go to the next game here. For the game point, will we see a reverse sweep? We want to see more game, and the games were very close. This one was a little bit more convincing from Boo Boy and Roby. They did have the advantage compared to first game, and can they make it stay? Can they stay confident? Because they have now one advantage going their side, and I'm going to show to the audience what is that advantage. It is the pick and ban, because now we do have the knowledge that Saiyajin is forced to take lock-in, while King Dance is forced to take Forsaken.
Yeah. Right, bear with me 1 second, Shadow. I just need to refill my water. I will be right back.
All good. And so Booboy and Roby have that advantage. They know what the opponent is going to take, and so they can play around it. And so the one receiving from King Dance and the one sending to King Dance probably knows the opener, probably going for a Crusher, or probably going for the Fire Archer start. So there is some knowledge that are restricted into the restricted into the openings that he can do. So we're gonna see in that game what will be the decision. So that will be the most important part, is to know how they will use that information to their advantage. And this is game point for Saiyajin and King Dance, 2-0 ahead of Ubo and Roby, but the games have all been very close. And now the thing is that Boba and Roby needs to win every single game if they want to have a chance to have the first place here. So we are waiting on Saiyajin here. Saiyajin probably needing to take a break here. That's totally fine. We'll give the players time to breathe a little bit, and also Penny refilling his water. But those games are very close, and we're very happy to see that they are very close for the audience, and we do hope to be able to show you more. And now we want Roby and Boo Boy to use the knowledge of the picks of Saiyajin and King Dance. So from the lock-in, probably expecting something like the Boar or the Holy Avenger, but it is still possible to mix it up with a lock-in Angler or things like that. We have seen this with the upgraded Bananas. The upgraded Bananas did do that previously, but yeah, locking in a tier 6 can be very good to ensure yourself a good late game, but you can also allow yourself to do a lock-in for an early game strategy as well. Saiyajin, no, King Dance is the one Forsaken, sorry, it's Saiyajin that needs to make that decision and can go for a early game. And with Nightmare, you're probably aiming to end on wave 14. The aggressive push is probably going to be necessary. And we will go on to
I am back, Mr. Shadowings.
Alright, and we will see what is the decision, but I do think that it will not be a lock-in boar, nor will it be a lock-in Holy Avenger from Cygen. It will be a lock-in to enable the mid-game push of a Nightmare and use it to end it on wave 14. And so we might see the lock-in Angler. So game 3, game point for #1 against Dream Team. Can Dream Team utilize the information of the picks available to Cygen and King Dance to take the advantage here? They did show a lot of strength in the previous 2 games. Will they be able to make it as close as they were before? So take it away.
Yeah, I mean, the spells don't really line up perfectly here for King Dan's. Well, I think he's just baiting the casters, right? He's definitely just baiting the casters here. I'm not falling for it, Dans. I know your tricks. You're not starting with a butcher in the middle of the lane. But yeah, I was going to say that the spells don't line up well for King Dans. When you're playing Forsaken, you really want something like Pulverizer or Vampire, just to enhance your Doppelganger carry. And there's none of those on the table. There's Sorcerer, which does nothing for him. But Venture might be okay, and Creditor might be okay. I expect Dans to go for an Economist spell this game for sure. Meanwhile, we have Robbie with the Boar and the Zeus. So pretty solid there. You got to say Robbie's got a good role for this game. And Boo Boy, he has the Avenger, but there's no lifesteal to combo with that, which means it's kind of a shadow of its usual self, right? We've seen how hard the Avenger popped off when it has lifesteal, but without that sustain, it just isn't quite the same.
But
and I actually think that Dan's is committing to this this mid lane butcher build here.
no,
he's
not. He's not. But I want to say to you,
no,
Boo Boy.
Okay. 5 seconds remaining. He goes to a real build. All right, Dan's. All right, you got me.
Boo Boy is going to have a redraw, just to say to you. So you have Forsaken on King Dance, Lock-in on Cygen, Lock-in on Roby, and redraw on Boo Boy. And with the Holy Avenger already present, he can reroll easily into lifesteal.
Yeah.
So we do have here the King Dance with the Bone Crusher. We do have King Ups on everybody. No! Saya and King Dance mixing it up and not sending on wave 1.
Okay.
And so we have King Dance staying at 5 worker, realizing that he will not be able to go for the 6 worker start, but he has his favorite combo, the Green Devil Bone Crusher start.
Yeah, and I wonder if Boo Boy can afford to send here. I'm not sure that he can. If he sends a snail, it is just feed for King.
It is just feed, but without the split, it is not, because this Gargoyle, when there's a snail coming, okay, he needs a split, but if there's not snail, that doesn't matter, that holds. But with a snail, the Gargoyle dies too fast and takes too much aggro onto the Bone Crusher. So, reading the no send here, meaning that he will be able to get easily the Green Devil, despite being undervalued here. Shifting the right amount of gold.
Yeah, Dan's and Cygen, they continue to save their Mythium, so they haven't spent a single bit yet, and
that's an 80 cent.
Big sends on wave 3.
That is an 80 cent from King Dance.
A brute from Dan. Now, what can Robbie do? Like, he probably just has to add Pee-wees, but it's not going to help him at all on wave 3 against a brute.
No, definitely not. And pushing to 5 worker despite not receiving a 20 on 1, which is quite surprising.
He's going to pay for it, though. He's absolutely going to pay for it because he cannot afford a veteran. He's 4 gold short.
Yeah, he cannot afford it. And the wave was super long, and that is indeed a 80 cent coming his way. And there is no build that is able to hold that 80 cent with a Zeus on wave 3 with Pee-wees.
No, absolutely no chance. He probably has to boost here as well, but this is going to be a big leak on Robbie. Like, it really is going to be a big leak. Boo Boy, meanwhile, might be okay.
There's too much. There's too much on that. There's just way too much on the Oathbreaker here.
Yeah. The Fire Archer at least should be... Oh, no, but there's only 3 going right. Yeah. That Oathbreaker's going to die super quick.
That is a disaster for Dream Team here on game 3.
Disaster. Absolute disaster.
And King Dance and Cygen wants to end it fast here, and this will be a massive leak from Robbie. 67%.
67% there on Robbie. Oh no. Oh no. And Boo Boy as well. Oh no!
The Nekomata. It's all about the Nekomata positioning on Buboy that caused that. You switched the Nekomata with the Bone Warrior into already doing way better than you did here.
Yeah, 42% there from Booboy as well. This is 15 creeps reaching the king, including a full HP brute. This is going to be some serious damage already. Wave 3. And this is the match point, by the way. So,
Yeah.
Dream Team, this is not their dream start to this game.
Not at all. And I must say it is a bit of too much greed from Roby and a missed position by Booboy here. Booboy was supposed to hold here.
Yeah.
But let's see. Booboy going to try again with a brute here.
Their king HP already at 53%. That's too much damage to take so early in the game. Like, they just can't afford another slip up here.
Yeah, they just
And
can't.
Booboy, he goes for the big send here against King Dams on wave 4, but he won't even be able to afford the snail, I don't think. Oh, he does. He just gets it at the very last second.
And King Dams was 4 gold off the Fire Archer here, so not the perfect split here. Not enough damage on that wave here. So he might be leaking here. It's all about the brute here.
The brute was solo on the Green Devil for a while there, but now the split joins in the fun.
Yeah, that's a leak on King Dams.
If the brute survives, which it does, it's a big leak, 91%. Okay, that is a good counterattack there from Booboy.
Roby leaking.
Robbie leaks against the income resend. Booboy at least will hold this time around.
Yeah, so they are able to punish the greed from King Dance this time, but the gold lost here will be very hard to recover from. 30 gold from onto King Dance and Cyajin, and what do they get now? With the leak of King Dance, they get a little bit back, but
no king damage, crucially.
Yeah, no king damage, but it's still very close here to even in terms of gold gain. We are a total of 30 away from what Cyajin and King Dance accumulated on wave 3. But the resends here.
Send coming out from Robbie. Hermit and Snails, very, very strong send against Cyajin.
Oh, yeah.
And the Hermit just deletes all of the damage from the masks. But this Pilgrim, it's not in the right place. It's not going to tank anything apart from the split. So we might just see the Azora die very, very quickly, and then the Pilgrim getting run over.
Yep. The Pilgrim is tanking just a bit, but it's only healing one target right now.
Yeah, and the Azora is going to die very, very quickly here. And the Hermit will continue to heal up the wave. That mask damage is just inconsequential here on wave 5.
And the resend on King Dance. Resend on King Dance seems to be manageable for him, so it should be a hold for him.
He does hold there, but this is a big, big leak from Cyajin here.
And a hold on both.
82% there. But Dan's, both of his units survive, it looks like.
The Green Devil?
Be able to do...
The Green Devil is not surviving.
The Green Devil is not surviving, okay.
So this will go to the King.
Yeah.
And what is the spell? The spell is Judgment, so one of the best against the Hermit here.
But look at this though, a very, very long wave, while both King Dans and Cyajin have 8 workers.
No, but...
And they've got 120 Mythium each.
The problem is that King Dance is not better next wave. But he will have possibly the Holy Avenger next wave.
I think he will. I think he sends here, and then he gets the Holy Avenger, and then he's amazing on wave 6.
The resends needs to come in from everybody. I think it is not negotiable, because this is a very long wave, longer than everybody wanted.
Yeah. Cyajin goes brute here. Oh yeah, that's very dangerous for Booboy.
that is not looking good for Booboy.
And remember, their king's already at 52%, so they cannot afford another leak here on wave 6.
Yeah, they need to full prepare for this wave. They need to read the play.
Cyajin will have 3 brutes, by the way. He has time for 3 brutes.
Oh no, he has time for 3 brutes. You have the hymns coming in, so Robbie needs to fully prepare for here. So he needs that second Zeus. Yeah, the second Zeus.
Okay, second Zeus. Okay, good. Now, King Dans was saving for a Mimic here. We saw him hold on to his Mythium until the very last second. And I think he sent when he was around 155 Mythium remaining. So he was very, very close to getting that Mimic, which would have decimated Robbie. Now, the send he got going out, the Imp and the Dragon Turtle, is still pretty dangerous. But the Mimic would have destroyed Robbie.
Yeah, so Robbie has a chance to hold that send. Because the imps are not the ideal send against the veterans and the Peewee. And the Zeus is a lot of damage that wave. But look at lane of Booboy here. He is close to value, but no units. No units closed on that wave. he might clear more than we expected here, because look at this cat thing. Just
Well, the Fire Archer is surviving, so he might kill 3 of the Roccos.
oh, and he needs to kill that brute. He needs to kill that brute.
Oh, but Robbie 56%. I think they just
Yeah,
I think
it just
die
die.
here.
They just die. It's over. It is a 3-0 from Hashtag in the final here.
Wow.
And at this, after
Are
two
we
close
sure they
games,
die? They do die, right?
yeah, they do die. After 2 close games, and game 1 and game 2, pulling up the fight here.
Wow.
Just
Yeah,
falling
this
short.
game was not close. The first 2 games
Yeah.
of the series were very, very close from Dream Team. But this one was a complete stomp from #1. And congratulations to Dans and Cyajin. They take a very decisive 3-0 victory in the Shadow Cup. Amazing play from both of those players. Shadow, take it away.
We might have to say here the big problem was wave 3 here. Like the positioning from Booboy was pretty strong in the later stages of the day of the game, like the wave 6, the Nekomata not taking any brutes on there. But that means that on wave 3 you're vulnerable to a leak here. The Overkill taking too much, the Fire Archer not taking anything. And so switching up those Bone Warriors and the Nekomata could have been a better choice for him, and could have held and not take 50% King HP and still punish King Downs here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this was a big problem. Also, Ruby pushing to 5 workers despite not surfing any stance, not recognizing that King Dance is going for a slow wave. It's just a big problem. Like, not respecting King Dance here was the biggest problem for Ruby.
Yeah. That's wow. I think none of us expected the match point in the series to end on wave 6, dude. But yeah, incredible play there from #1, just absolutely demolishing their opponents in this game.
So I'm going to adjust the score so that everybody sees. #1, a very decisive win here, proving why they were the first seeded team. The underdog story was real for some time here, but falling short very fast in game 3 here, and just ending the series 3-0.
Yeah. Wow, amazing play, and congratulations to them, the winners of the first ever Shadow Cup. Very well deserved there for #1. They played incredibly well throughout the entire weekend, and a very well deserved victory here for them today.
Sorry. Okay, we have this, we have that. And yeah, so I mean the turning point was clear here. I mean the pick and ban, the Nightmare, the Forsaken pick here, outclassing the Atlantean here, just due to the early game. The early game pressure that Forsaken can put up compared to Atlantean really make the difference here, especially in game 1 and in game 3.
Yeah, very solid play there from Dans and Sio. I think they really read the game well in all 3 games, and yeah, they just really showed us a real display of skill today.
And so there is no more game. The Shadow Cup does end here. We have our winners. We have our second place team as well, Dream Team. They are all receiving trophies. They are all receiving money from the prize pool given by the community. And let's just take a moment to thank all those who have contributed to the prize pool. And also, first, I'll wait for the game to finish to start the giveaway. So I'll keep an eye into that. But first of all, let me thank the people who have made it possible in terms of the prize pool and everything. The contributor, Pyro Penguin, yesterday, Mr. Buzz yesterday as well contributed, Suolai, Toyken, Sabayo, Yog Epibot, SSP, and all the subscribers, as well as Crazy, giving some to the prize pool as well. And also to the casters that helped me, Yog, Penny, and Crazy, to make this event possible, as well as the one who gave in the CD keys for Legion TD2 to the newer players, Flight TV. And also thank to the Auto Attack Game team to make this game exist at first, right? Without the game, there's no tournament. And so also for them to contribute $50 of premium essence for King Dance and Cyajin. So I do hope they will used it to have more skins or also buy more cards maybe if they want that. But yeah, very, very important also to mention my sister here that made the image for the cups for the winners of the first, second, and third place of the Shadow Cup. And I do hope that the event was living to the expectation of many people. Yes, we would have loved to see a grand final going to 5 games, but very close games were on game 1 and 2 were worthwhile also. But it just shows the strength of the team #1 presently in the current meta, knowing how to greed and how to also place the units to maximize the amount of workers they are able to pull out, and the pressure control, the undercuts, the calls, everything was pretty impressive to see.
Yeah, absolutely, dude, absolutely.
So I'll let you talk for a little bit here if you have anything to add about the format and things like that. I am going to start the giveaway here for the players here, for the viewers. And so so I'm going to say key giveaway.
I'll just say that on the format itself, I think was a very innovative format. It's obviously all of the previous tournaments we've played in the past have been mastermind only. So I think the additional flavour brought in by the pick and ban system of the Shadow Cup has worked very well. And we really did see Kingdoms and Saijin using that ability to play legions in the tournament with their Forsaken pickup here, working very, very well for them in game 1 and game 3. And I think the format just really adds an extra level of flavour to the already amazing top level Legion TD2 gameplay that we expect from the tournament scene. And it was just an all around fun tournament to watch and play and cast. And I think it's been a fantastic weekend. I hope that a lot of new players, very much welcome to the game, by the way, new players in the Twitch chat. I hope that you have enjoyed the tournament this weekend. I hope you've been able to learn from seeing how the best of the best play at the very top level. And I just think it's been a really fantastic weekend all around for players, viewers, casters, and of course, everybody there in the Twitch chat. I hope you've had a great time. So, yeah, and thank you very much once again to Mr. Shadowwings. I know we had a big parade for you at the end of my stream yesterday, but it just is worth saying again that Shadowwings, the man, the myth, the legend, he puts in so much time and effort for the community of Legion TD, and it really has paid off with an amazing tournament this weekend. So thank you very much, Shadow, once again for all of the time that you've put into this tournament. I think it's been fantastic, and it wouldn't have been possible without you as the driving force behind this tournament. So thank you very, very much. Twitch chat, if you would like to join me with a big round of your favorite emotes in the chat to wish love and praise for Shadowwings on his tournament hosting success.
Yeah, and everybody that followed. I mean, there's such a high amount of follow going on here. I can't name everybody, but thank everybody for the follow and the love for the community as well. You are the ones who make this possible. You are the motivation behind it. You are the one that we will try to entertain and give the best show possible. We did have a lot of hiccups in the beginning. I'm quite sorry for that. But with experience, we will make every cast a little bit better for you guys for sure. And so I'm gonna also leave you guys the just the trophy that the players are given. So the first place will go to #1 with Kingdom and Sage, and they will be given those trophies individually once I finish them and adjust them. And then the second trophy will go towards Dream Team of Boo Boy and Ruby. And finally, the third place is going to the upgraded bananas of Boo Boy, of no, Boo Boy, sorry, of Mr. Buzz and Piney.
Awesome.
I will also contact all the players to have their information so that I can give away their money. The prize pool, it is final. It will be a $505 distribution amongst all the participating team. So this means that with the percentage in the document in exclamation mark cup. It will follow that the percentage distribution, and I do hope that the players will enjoy the prize and also how the tournament fared.
Awesome. I think that's a pretty solid way to end the cast today. So,
Yep.
Am I okay to drop off here and let you handle the rest of the giveaway?
Yes.
Awesome.
So before I go, thank you for Penny to join me here. It was very fun, and see you next time, Penny, for hopefully more casts.
Thanks for having me, Shadow. Always a pleasure casting with you, dude. And I hope Twitch chat had a great time this weekend. I will see you all around. See you later.
See ya. Alright, so you have 20 seconds left for the giveaway. And I will choose a winner. And so I see a lot of participants. I see 35 participants right now for the key. A lot of Basti 10. I don't know why that is. But we're gonna roll a winner here. And the winner is Tarpor. So Tarpor, you will be receiving a Legion TD2 key here. I will contact you. Let me just go here. And I'll give it to you right away. But yeah, just to finish, I want to say thank you guys for watching. There is no more keys to give away. There were 2 given yesterday by Penny. Mr. Buzz got 1 that gave it to someone else, and we had also a new player getting it as well. So it was very, very fun to have you guys to have you guys here, and I cannot express how much I liked to prepare that tournament, how much I love the commitment to the players as well, and the cooperativeness also of them, like understanding when to go, reading the rules concerning the pick and ban, also being aware in Discord what's happening and things like that. Yes, I wasn't always on top of my game in terms of shifting the type of screens, but on that, I'm gonna say thank you for watching and have a nice one, guys.